It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, welcome back into a great sports week with us, Rothman and Ice. And we know one thing is an absolute fact.
What happened?
Coach Day waited for us.
Here we go.
Clearly. He decided that this is the show that he always breaks into, and so we will oblige. So it's not really a tap dance Monday, but Ryan Day and the coaches will be speaking to the media. He is going for a repeat. Ohio State is the betting favorite right now at the end of March to win it all again. Here's Coach Day.
This is Ohio State head coach Ryan Day's weekly press conference. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Again, I think it's funny. You get done on January 20th, and then you start up, just a week ago, and it wasn't that only like 2 months ago. But sometimes you can come in with a different demeanor, different look in your eye, different approach, and he's so far shown that look in his eye. Now, what he puts on the field here this spring was yet to be determined, but up until this point, he's done everything right.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Last year's nucleus came from that 21 recruiting class. The 22 recruiting class, only 7 of those guys in the 21 are still here.
Right.
And Sonny wasn't even supposed to be here. Why do you think that class hasn't panned out, and how important is it that the remaining guys do make an impact this year?
It's funny. I was looking at that just recently, and I think a lot of it had to do with the class that was ahead of them and the class that was behind them. And some guys decided to come back last year. There was just a lot of reasons, and for whatever reason, that group never made it up the depth chart. Some guys early on in their career, some guys later.
Coach, can I introduce you to Joe Reedy, new writer for Associated Press right over there. Joe, go ahead.
Ryan, just a weekend with Matt Patricia, how have you assessed just him working with the defense and getting up to speed?
A lot of energy, building relationships right now, just getting started, but I think the feedback from our players has been good. I think they really enjoy the conversation, the extra time that they get a chance to spend some one-on-one time with Matt. His experience and credibility speaks for itself. I think they know that, but now they're getting a chance to meet him, and I think it's been great. I think we've gotten great feedback from the recruits as well, who have had a chance to meet with him. And, we're just starting to, dive into some of the different things that we can do on defense. And there was a couple good things today. So we'll see. Again, just a couple weeks in. But, again, I look at the staff chemistry and then chemistry with the players. And so far that's been really solid.
Tony Gerben, Buckeye Huddle.
Ryan, you guys don't normally go to the FCS for a transfer. What made Logan George the right guy for you, and what have you seen from him so far?
Yeah, he comes from the same hometown as Tommy, and we felt like we at least knew some people there to ask questions about his background, and then watched his film and just saw a player who played really hard and really physical and tough. Brought him in, really liked his family and his support system and just what they believe in, and we felt like it was the right fit. When you bring somebody in, as you know, it has to be the right fit in terms of a player, but also who they are as a person and their characters and their beliefs and their values, and really aligned with Logan during that time. And he's come in and actually did a nice job in those 2 weeks when we were preparing to play in those last 2 games of last year, and he's taken it from there, did a nice job in the weight room. He's a very serious guy, but he's earned the respect of our team in a short period of time.
Matt Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
And given the openings at both tackle positions, how important is this spring for the 2 guys you brought in, and what have you seen from them? I know early on, but the 2 transfer tackles.
I like the way that we're working right now. I think there's a good rhythm about Tyler and all the guys. I think when you see Marcus, Coach Dickey, they're attacking this thing, all 3 of them, and there's just a good rhythm about them. They're breaking up the work. I think the guys on the offensive line feel like they're getting better coming off the field every day. And you're seeing a lot of guys swing right now, playing a couple different positions, and some of the techniques are similar. They'll start to settle themselves down, but right now those guys are just working, competing. But as we know, the tackle position will be critical as we move into the next year.
Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
I don't know if you've figured out the details yet for the spring showcase or not, but there are other programs around the country who have been deciding not to have spring games at all. Other rule mentions because people looking at his players and stealing them. Why is that still important for Ohio State to have, whatever it's going to look like, have something on that day for the fans to see at the end of the season?
Yeah, I think it's good for everyone to know. Like, my plan is to have a spring game. I just think we need to save a little bit of wiggle room in case we take injuries. That's it. So we want to do this. We want to play a spring game. Now, there may be some guys that are held from the spring game, but not many. We feel like, again, we're 159 days away from playing Texas, and that day will matter to a lot of young players. So we need to get out there and compete. The format of it and how it works will probably be similar to what we've done in the past. So it'll be a great opportunity for fans and folks to see our guys and get out there and play. That part of it, to me, it is what it is, but we need to go do it. It's important that we start the season fast, and I think that first step is playing in the spring game. If we're down some linemen or down some bodies and we have to adjust, we'll figure that out from there. But we're, I guess, just 3 weeks out here, and so we plan on playing in that spring game on April 12th. So looking to get a great crowd, and I know we got some great things playing that day.
Adam King, WBNS.
Coach, Brian Hartline, your relationship with him during practice now, how different was that from 2 years ago? And how much has that grown? And what does his role look like right now? Well,
he's got the headset on, kind of like Chip did, and he's calling the plays and talking to the quarterback. So that relationship is important. And we talked about the other day that there's going to be times where he's going to meet with the quarterbacks and the receivers in the room together, which is something that I think is important as the play caller, because he's got to have a connection with the quarterback. They got to be on the same page. And so, that part of it in practice is something he's getting used to, as opposed to not having the headset on, not communicating to the quarterback, just coaching his receivers. So it's been good. The first 4 days we're just getting used to it and working out the kinks, but he certainly knows the offense well, knows how to call plays and all that. It's just, finding that rhythm of how do you do that in practice. And I think there's going to be times where maybe, we have somebody else just call it into the quarterback that can almost literally read off the script so that he can get out there and start coaching the guys. But it's different than just calling a play like it was in the past. Now you're actually, saying it to the quarterback. And that's something that Chip did every single day, whether it was a walkthrough or it was at practice. And I think that's something we need to continue as much as we can without interfering with the teaching.
Dave Holmes, WSYS.
Yeah, Ryan, you lost a lot of leadership as well as talent. I'm curious, now that you're around this group, is there a different personality on all these teams, or is that maintained by the coaches? What's kind of the feel of this team as opposed to last year?
There's consistency, but I think, to your point, one of the challenges that I gave to the leadership group was finding their voice and personality. I think it's coming out. I think you're seeing it, which has been great. Great to see. I don't think we're there yet. I think they just need more opportunity and more time.
Spencer Holbrook, Lettermen Row.
Ryan, Jeremiah is named an Iron Buckeye. Did you guys issue like a challenge to him after the championship game to just continue to push to get better? And what have those conversations been like with him since that freshman season? Well,
he was an Iron Buckeye as a freshman, which I think he's the first ever. And then to come back and do it again shows his discipline. And this is something that we talk a lot about. Talent is one thing. Does he have talent? You're darn right he does. But it doesn't always necessarily mean you have discipline to continue to do it over and over again. Make the right decisions on a daily basis on taking care of your body and the effort and the work and the intensity and the attitude, but you see all those things. And that, to me, what is the biggest difference differentiator with Jeremiah? It's that. And then obviously the skill, and he controls how much discipline and skill he has in his life. And so that's something we tell our entire team to focus on. God's given you a certain amount of talent. It's the discipline and skill that you control. And that's, to me, where he, again, is special. And his work ethic sets an example for the other guys. It was a day last week where we're in special teams, and he goes through and does one of the reps on special teams. And it was a drill that maybe he won't do. It was actually a defensive sort of drill where he gets your hands on a guy and snags him. And so, when he's up there, and that's the example for the whole team, if I'm a guy like Quincy or one of these young guys like Dez, I'm watching it saying, wait a minute, if Jeremiah's doing it, I got to do it. And that's great leadership right there. And we need that as we move forward with Jeremiah. And I think, he's done it by example, but in his own way. If he can start bringing guys with him, that's the next step for him.
Jimmy Watkins, Cleveland.com.
Brian, we asked you a couple weeks ago about separating Matt's work from what Bill was doing in New England. I'm sure that's followed him for a long time now. As someone who has also worked under great coaches, I'm sure you want to emulate some of the things you do, but how do you create your own identity as a coach?
I think first off, you lean on the guys that are around you. There's a lot of teamwork that goes on, and then you do what your guys do best, and you use things that either guys in a room have utilized before or things that you've seen on different staffs, and then you put them to work. And sometimes there are things that maybe you haven't even done before, but it's the right thing to do with this certain group of guys. I think that's what will be important this year on both sides of the ball, just like every year, because every year is a different group of guys. And again, that to me is one of the most important things in all of football, but in particular college football, because you have to adapt year in and year out, because the guys are different. And you know that, based on your depth, based on the guys at certain positions, you have to predict what those things are going to look like and how they're going to play out throughout the season. This may be something that it can hold up for about 5 or 6 weeks, but once you get to the middle of the season or end of the year, it's going to dry up. All right, what's the next step, and try to think ahead. And I think that we would try to do the best we can through our experiences to predict what those things are going to be, so that we have enough scheme but not too much to overwhelm them.
Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Right, CBS reported on Friday that the team is scheduled to visit the White House as national champions on April 14th. The day, is that the right day? Do you have any thoughts on getting to visit?
Yeah, it's an honor to be invited. We were formally invited, and it's customary. And I remember growing up and watching the national championship teams go to the White House, and I always looked at that like, man, what an honor that would be. And so it's part of the celebration of our team. And I think the Eagles are maybe going, before us, but I think our date is April 14th. Yep. So, looking forward to getting all that planned out.
Tim May. The Tim May Show.
Well, thank you, Jerry. I wasn't kidding, by the way, but I told you in your office. But I'm just here for a little. Caleb Downs, how much license do y'all give a guy to like work with other guys? I mean, he seems like he's coaching as much as he's playing sometimes anymore and stuff. But how does that fall into kind of what you want from a guy like that?
Yeah, anytime that you can look at it like a coach, that's the last level of understanding. We talk about knowing what to do, how to do it, but then understanding why you do it. And you always think about when you master something, you can usually teach it, whether it's a teacher or growing up with a subject. And so when he's maybe not getting as many reps this spring, healing up, but he's doing great, by the way, with that. But he's got an opportunity to get around guys and help teach. And that not only does it keep him engaged, it also keeps the young guys engaged, shows how important that is, but also allows him to understand it at a deeper level. So I think all that is good, and he has the capability to do that.
Does he have that in his future, you think, if he wants to be?
Yeah.
30 years from now.
Yeah, there's not much that when Caleb doesn't put his mind to, it's not going to happen. I mean, he's a smart guy who just really is intentional in everything he does. He's got a tremendous amount of discipline, and he's very intelligent.
Bill Landis, podcast.
Right. Did you guys learn anything in the playoff about the viability of rotating on the offensive line that might make you want to do that sort of as a matter of course this season?
Yeah. When you're playing this many games with 18 to 22-year-olds, yeah, you need to have depth. You have to, because you just know along the way to think that everyone's going to be there for all 16 games is unrealistic. So we've got to try to figure out ways to roll guys at all positions, and there's not one position that I don't think that's the case. But I do think the best example of that was the offensive line coming off of last year, and that's what we're going to use as the example we need to do. We talk about power of the unit, and I'm actually not even there yet, but that's kind of like the next phase, even for next week with the staff, that I haven't really gotten into, is like depth. I know it's always been a big thing before, but now it's not just like putting the starters out there. It's like, how much depth can you have to be able to sustain this long season? It isn't just about 1 game, 2 games, 3 games. It's about the entirety of the 16-game season, and being able to do that and making sure that at your position, you have enough talent and production, but you also have enough depth to survive the season. And to me, that's important now more than it was in the past.
Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
Brian said he's given a lot of thought to coaching up the box or being down on the field, but he had to make a decision on that. It's something you would have a lot of input on as well. What are your thoughts on an offensive coordinator trying to call plays from the sideline compared to the booth, taking away from this guy?
It's a comfort level of what you're seeing, and then there's I liked when I was just calling it to be down on the field because I could look him in the eye. But I also like to be around the quarterback and talk to the quarterback. I think if all things are equal and you had a veteran quarterback, you can see more up top. You can be more organized. It's almost like playing a video game. You're detached from it all. And you can think a little clearly. You don't get caught up in the emotion of the game. You lose a little bit of looking somebody in the eye and see how things are going down there during the game. But it's a little bit of a feel. So I think as time goes on, we'll kind of let Brian try to figure that out, and we get into the preseason, we'll do some scrimmaging in the stadium. The spring game will probably be a little bit of a snapshot for him, but I'll leave it up to him on that decision.
And final question, Jeremy Birmingham, the podcast.
Brian, staying on that track, like with Brian, obviously as a wide receivers coach, he's the best in the country, and it is viewed that way by pretty much everyone. Chip was the guy in the headset that he was talking to the quarterback as the quarterback's coach. How do you balance what Brian needs to do with the receivers versus what he needs to do with the quarterbacks versus what he needs to do with play calling, et cetera?
Yeah, well, I think he's got help here with myself and with Billy and Devin. I did it before, where I did coach the receivers and called plays, and I think one of the things that we talked about, Brian and I, was just having enough interaction with the quarterbacks so that he does know and he's on the same page, because I think that's important. But it's sort of a team effort. We're all involved with this. So I think every week that goes by, he'll get a better feel for it and how that goes. But I think one thing that helps us in recruiting, it helps us with the guys, is just the stability of the offense, the stability of Brian, the stability of myself involved with all of those guys that keeps this thing moving. And we're all talking the same language. And I think that's that's good for quarterbacks to know the rules are the rules. The wide receivers, the rules are the rules. If you just stick to the rules, things are going to go good. And there's not a lot of gray area when it comes to the passing game. And because it's, going on 9 years of trial and error and different things. And so, we know certain, buckets of plays or styles of plays that fit certain, skill sets in terms of quarterbacks, receivers, tight ends, running backs. And, so that part's good. There's not like a lot of trial and error right now. So we all know exactly what it should look like. And we all know the coaching points along the way. But we do have to make sure that there's not a lot of too many voices in the quarterback's head. That has to make sure that it's consistent across the board to make sure the development is strong, because as we all know, it all goes through the quarterback, and that's the most important thing.
Coach, thank you very much.
All right, guys, thanks. Yep.
You've been listening to Ohio State head coach Ryan Day's weekly press conference. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
All right, there's a little pop-up presser from Ryan Day. He did confirm a couple very interesting things and some high notes for this spring. We'll tell you about those when we come back, and then we will monitor for the coordinators, Matt Patricia and Brian Hartline. And if those guys take the podium, we will take you there. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, and MLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
EasyCater. It's all the food for your workplace, all in one place. With over 100,000 restaurants nationwide on one platform. Whether you need food for company meetings or events, daily employee lunches, or your next lunch and learn, EasyCater makes food for work, work. And it doesn't stop at lunch. With EasyCater, you've got great breakfast options, snacks, treats, and more. Whenever and wherever work happens, EasyCater's here to make the food happen. Order now at easycater.com.
It's March, and you know what that means. Bracket season. You've crunched the numbers, picked your favorites, and maybe even taken a big gamble on that Cinderella team. But when it comes to your home, gambling is not an option. Spring storms are rolling in, bringing strong winds, heavy rain, and unpredictable weather. The question is your roof ready? At Newman Roofing, we don't leave anything up to chance. Whether you need a new roof, gutter replacement, or updated siding, our expert team is here to educate you, guide you, and give you the best options to fit your home's needs. No high-pressure sales, no surprises, just top-quality work from a team you can trust. That's why homeowners choose Newman Roofing, the #1 overall seed here in Columbus, because we deliver an unbeatable customer experience every single time. So, don't wait until the damage is done. Beat the storm before it ruins your big dance. Call 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com to schedule your spot this spring. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
If you're like most Americans, you've racked up tens of thousands in credit card debt. You're stuck with 20% interest fees, and even the monthly payments, well, they're hard to make. It's insane. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. The good news is that there is a way out. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending. They specialize in fast, easy access to the equity in your home. Most homeowners have hundreds of thousands of dollars in their home equity. That's your money. AFLcash.com can get it out for you with zero junk fees and zero hassle. You can pay off all those credit cards in just a matter of days. Pay off your car loans too. Cut your monthly expenses by $800 or even $900. I'm telling you, the relief you need, well, it's right there at your fingertips. AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Break out of the credit card debt prison with AFLcash.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
The tournament is underway. Is your bracket a big pile of trash like mine? Big voice guy took it on the chin this year. Anyway, check your standings in the Fan and 10 TV Bracket Challenge.
Sponsored by Mountain Dew, Ohio Bottled, Buckeye Bowl.
The most accurate bracket, not mine, will take home $1,000. Check your progress at 971thefan.com. Wasting time has never been more fun. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Do you want a job that is flexible, secure, and fun? It also offers excellent pay and is ranked as one of the best jobs in America, too. I'm talking about being a dental hygienist. And all you have to do is complete a 2-year program after high school. Visit ODA.org to learn more and to start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
The sunshine is back today. It'll be windy, though. Winds gusting up to 40 miles per hour. Today's high 56. Tonight's low 36. Heading into Tuesday, expect scattered showers with a high of 53. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Always as tender as a well-done steak. This is Rothman and Ice.
All right, a couple things that he confirmed real fast before we take you back over to Ohio State. And you'll hear from defense coordinator Matt Patricia. So 2 things confirmed. 1, this is going to be a spring game. This is going to be something similar outside of any horrible injuries across the board, that Ryan Day wants to compete. He wants to have a final practice that feels like a game, that has some kind of competitive nature to it, and not just a Ohio State Buckeye festival in the shoe, where guys are sitting at tables and signing stuff, and like he wants it to be something. So that's that. And then 2 days later, they're off to the White House. Mm-hmm. They're going, and they're going to be honored as the champs. And he thinks that's very important, and throughout his history, and to have that moment for that team to be able to go to D.C. and be honored. Be cool. So that'll happen over that weekend. All right, now let's take you back to Ohio State, and you'll hear from the D.C.
I mean, it's obviously awesome just to be able to come here. You know, I mean, I have such respect for Ohio State and you know, obviously a great year last year and Coach Day and the program and the culture that he's built. I'm a big fan, been a big fan for a long time. You know, we come here all the time when you're at the next level and you're grabbing a lot of really good players out of this school, so you're very familiar with that. I think for me, I'm just, like I said maybe before, like I'm just excited. You know, I just want to teach and I want to mentor, but really right now I've got to learn. You know, I got to listen, I've got to learn, I got to try to, you know, understand what all the great coaches that are here, what they're doing fundamentally, and then things that we did last year structurally that are really good, and, you know, implement all that as we go forward and just try to do the best job I can to teach. You know, I think that's my job right now, is that with what we're doing, and when I see it, you know, be able to teach it and get it across to the players and the coaches. But you know, right now I feel like I'm the student. You know, I'm just kind of learning and trying to take in as much as I can, and then really trying to learn the kids. You know, trying to learn, you know, their backgrounds and where they're from and what do they want. You know, I think that's really important, you know, so that I can be that mentor and that teacher and help them, you know, along whatever path that is for them, you know, and constantly try to encourage them to, you know, to do all that stuff that they have to do every day and be consistent with it.
Deep right, Nick Walker, Lettermen row.
Matt, this is the first time we've talked to you since the contact period opened up for like where you can't get into specifics with guys, but what's it been like to actually meet with recruits, have them on campus, get to kind of shake their hands, and what have you taken away from that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a little while for me on that deal. So it's really cool. I mean, the whole thing is like completely changed, right? You know, I mean, I think there's so much coming at these guys so fast. I kind of feel for them sometimes, you know, and I think for me, my approach is just I'm trying to be as direct as I can and as honest with them as I can, and, you know, just help them evaluate what I see and how do they get better, and then, you know, visions for us going forward and how we would be able to implement that. But I really do enjoy sitting down, you know, right now in the initial phases. I think a lot of them, because they have been, you know, they've been recruited by Ohio State for a while. So a lot of that process is just getting to know my story a little bit and getting to know me. But at the same time, you know, understanding and learning the player and learning the kid and what he's been through and what, you know, kind of his journey a little bit is important, in the family and all of that. And it's just kind of building that relationship. I think that's the coolest part right now. And, you know, again, like college is great, mentoring young men, but then to, you know, then project that into the high school level. You know, like I said, my parents were teachers, and my dad, you know, he did that a lot too. So just trying to keep his voice in my head a little bit, you know, and understanding, you know, these are young kids, and really, again, like I said, there's just a lot coming at them, I think. So listening is really important, and then, you know, just building that relationship with them.
Jimmy Watkins, Cleveland.com.
Matt, the layman might see a guy with your NFL resume jump into college and say, well, that's a backward career move. Why don't you see it that way?
Yeah. I really don't. I mean, I'm very blessed for my NFL career. I was really lucky. You know, I mean, I've coached great players. I had a lot of fun, but I think, like I mentioned before, you know, I think I started off as a college coach. I think that was where people really impacted me as a young man. And I think as a coach, you know, we want to teach, we want to mentor, and that's what we want to do. And, you know, this is a great opportunity for me to get back to that. I think that's really important right now, just to, you know, teach the game. And I know I can help them. You know, I know I can help the kids, and if they want to go to the next level, I can give them a lot of good advice. But, I mean, it's Ohio State. This is, you know, this is the top. So, I mean, I'm pretty lucky to be here. And, again, it's a great game. The kids are great. So I think of it as just a great opportunity to go coach, and that's really what I want to do.
Joe Reedy, Associated Press.
Matt, you've got experience with New England of winning a championship, but then 2 months later quickly having to go back to work. Just with spring ball here, what's the biggest thing, just knowing it's a long season and being back in that short amount of time?
Yeah, I would say that's a really good point. I would say in my previous experience, you know, I think one of the biggest things to try to always get everybody to understand is the urgency which you need to come back at. And we would always say it, you know, we're just behind. We're behind everybody else. Everybody else got a jump start. Everybody's a little bit further ahead, and just try to create that urgency of what's happening right now for, you know, our team. Like, we've got to really, you know, be intentional about everything we do. We've got to have great urgency. We've got to rest. We've got to recover. We've got to do everything from, you know, the body, but just that mindset of like, it's going to happen fast. Like, the off season is going to be shorter. We're going to be back in it before you know it. And, you know, we can't make up that time. So how do we, if we have the mentality a little bit like we're behind everybody else, how do we catch up? You know, what do we do? And that's that consistency and that urgency, I think, is a big part of it. And, you know, I always tell the guys too, you know, when you reach the top of that mountain, you know, and this, you know, Ohio State's always had a big target, but like there's a huge target on who you are, and everybody now is going to spend the offseason studying every facet of what you do. So you have 6 months, you know, that team is going to be studying you during the offseason. So even if you don't play that team till middle of the season, okay, we've got 4 days to get ready for them. They've spent 6 months getting ready for us. So that urgency has to go up to understand, like, you know, we've got to catch up to where they are kind of in the reverse study.
Austin Moore, podcast.
Then you're talking going into camp about the multiplicity of the schemes and how you can adapt over time. How much of that relies on the nickel position, and how many guys could you consider on this roster to play that?
Yeah. I think multiplicity comes in a couple different ways. Nickel is huge, big nickel. You know, if you have some of those body types, safety position in my past, you know, has always been one of those positions that's been fun to kind of move around and put in different spots, especially when you have guys with a big skill range that play that position, because I think it makes it really hard for the offense, you know, kind of what exactly is the defense in right now and what can they do out of it. So I do like the flexibility of the nickel and the big nickel position. I think the linebackers are really, you know, critical in that too. Guys that can play on the ball, off the ball, and get into different structures that way is fun, you know, to kind of put pressure on the offense. I think, you know, here, the defensive backs just specifically, you're talking about the nickel, like it's a great room. There's a lot of depth there. So in that situation, I'm like, okay, let's get as many guys as we can in different roles to be able to go out there and play and keep it moving on the offense, you know, try to make them figure out like, hey, somebody else is coming in. Is this a different package? Is it a different structure? Like, is this going to be something new? I'm not really sure what this looks like, you know, and hopefully we stay ahead of them before they figure it out. But I think the room's great. Tim, you know, they do a great job. Matt, they do a great job back there of training those guys and bringing them in. And, you know, they're big, they're long, they can run. I mean, if you like defensive football, those guys are great to watch back there. It's fun.
All right, there is Coach Matt Patricia, defensive coordinator, brand new. No confirmation on whether that number 2 pencil was in that ear. I did not see one. It's kind of making me upset if it's not there, Matty. That trademark needs to come back. Yeah. We will come back in 2 minutes and kind of reset the show. And if Brian Hartline takes the podium, we'll take you there as well. We rarely get to do this with both coordinators. We're doing it today. And we're back in 2 minutes. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Head to TrueGreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
Austin Ward here, fired up for warm weather, golf season, longer days, more time outside. Ride the momentum and finally drop the weight you keep saying you will. With Awaken 180, it's fast, easy, and we're all proof that it works. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Sometimes you don't realize something was bothering you
until it's gone.
That's how you're going to feel
after we work our magic at your house.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony once ran the table on the world 9-ball champion. Coincidentally, Matty is out looking for a magic 8-ball. Signs point to this is Rothman and Ice.
All right, back at it. Big Monday here on the program. Head coach, coordinators, recruits in the house. A lot of action going on over at Ohio State. Spring ball. Brian Hartline, brand new OC, is, and this may sound so elementary when Ryan Day said, you know, he's getting used to just having the headset on and calling plays and talking to the quarterback, used to just coaching the receivers. And I don't think there's any confirmation on whether he'll be in the sideline or the booth. Ryan Day said that's a comfort level thing for Hartline. Maybe he will be asked. Let's take you there.
Your self-improvement really allows those first couple groups to kind of do their thing at practice. So Coach Jordan's doing a great job helping me in that room, keeping it organized. But with all that being said, I think being organized outside of receiver meeting times and all those other times where you're the position coach, if you will. If you can stay well organized, it doesn't detract from where you're trying to be when you're supposed to be there, if that makes sense. So on the field, I'm trying to watch a lot of things. I think that based on previous opportunities, maybe I'm focused in on one guy because he made that mistake on that play last week, so I'm kind of locked in there. But it's definitely a balancing act. I'm not saying I'm a pro at it yet, but I can feel myself when I'm getting pulled one way or the other, and as long as I can keep self-assessing myself, I think our goals and what my goals are can be accomplished.
The Lantern.
How and where have you seen Jeremiah grow the most as a leader?
Well, I would say he, originally a leader. He's a by example type of young man. He's not going to say a whole lot, at least in years past. I would say growing would be that way. He's being a little more outspoken. I think he's speaking more in the room, in the receiver room. And, I would say just even the conversations that we have, definitely just feel, more and more intellect and football IQ and all that's just growing. He's just another year older and another year of improvement. So he's growing that way, but I would say probably a little more outspoken than he was when he first walked in, since when he walked in it was 0. So it's definitely a little more than that. He's doing a good job of always leading by example, but we're all trying to just get him out of his comfort zone and see if he can make an impact on some of his peers from a communication standpoint.
You saw the success you guys had last season with the running backs being able to kind of divide the workload and keep them relatively fresh going into the playoff. Just how important do you think that is to this roster? Does it have to be 2 guys? Can there be a 3rd guy that maybe has more reps than we saw from the 3rd guy last year?
Yeah, I don't know how it'll play out. Coach Locke will have a great plan there, but I think that having depth at that position is really critical, whether it be at our level or the NFL level. You guys kind of see it every week, every year. It's a longer season. It's more like the NFL, frankly, from a snap count, game plan, games, opportunity. So to have depth, it's really important to keep guys healthy. And then if you do have an injury, you have guys that can step in and still carry that workload. I know we feel really good about the guys we have here, and we'll have some younger guys, that need to continue to grow and provide, that depth over time. But I think having multiple guys in that room do multiple things is always important. That's just good football. And those guys were elite at it last year, and it's our job, and it's their job, and that room's job to fill that void. That happens here at Ohio State every year, but that's part of the spring, frankly, and that's one of the positions probably where guys are learning, growing, and developing through that room. They're off to a good start for spring, but it's very important, yes.
Tony Gerben, Buckeye Holbrook.
Brian, you move Jeremiah and Carnell into the slot whenever you need. What does that do for Brandon? Like, how does that impact him? What do you need to see from him when that happens?
Well, I don't think anything with anyone else has any relationship to Brandon. I think Brandon and Bryson are doing a great job playing the slot. I think that they just want to keep growing from an experience standpoint. You can't be put in enough situations that mimic a game-like environment. So trying to find ways to do that so they feel like they're getting more and more game reps. But, that's kind of their primary spot, but everybody has kind of a secondary spot, right? At the end of the day, like we've done here at Ohio State, receiver-wise, best players play. And, when guys go down, I don't care, where you primarily are playing, but if you have an outside guy go down, you better be able to go out there and play some football. So, those guys know that, they believe in that, and they're on their own path, on the inside. The Carnell and Jeremiah's paths have nothing to do with BI and Bryson's.
Jeff Gilbert, Press Pros.
Brian,
yes, sir.
Brian's talked a lot about the 16 games, and you mentioned it today, and planning for that. Going back even a year when that became a reality, how have you seen Ryan just take that and manage that and make that part of everything you guys do in preparation? How did he do that well?
Yeah, you're always kind of looking around the corner for what could happen. You always got to operate that it would happen or could happen. So you're operating in the now, but you have to have perspective of the wear and tear of these guys' bodies. I think that's probably why Coach Day's best head coach in America. I mean, be able to have perspective on the now, but then also what's coming around the corner and what could happen, and having a good plan for it. So, frankly, how well he managed it and how he did it is probably more for him. But we felt really good. I mean, with the ability to early on identify, hey, it's going to be a longer season. We need to get guys other carries. Hey, we need to get other guys reps, whether it be in low line or receiver room or running backs especially. We had that perspective. He had that perspective, and it came to fruition. I think that there's no guarantees, right, in sports. I mean, you just try to do the best you can on increasing your odds of being in the right situation at the right time. And when you do that, it all kind of comes together. We wouldn't have changed how we did it early on to get to where we were if it didn't work out the way it did. But Coach had great perspective on the longevity of it all, and kept us on track, 3 quarters through the season. So it ended up paying off in the end.
Bill Binowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
I think this might have been the first time Ryan was not asked a quarterback question, so I'll ask you. What are your impressions of the 3 guys? What has stood out to you about each of those guys?
What has stood out to me? I would say that the first thing, again, just if I can try to sever off previous years just right now and allow these guys to be the best version of themselves without being judged by years past. I would say right now I'm impressed with the way they have grown, even day to day. Like we've already seen improvements from day one. Nowhere near where we want to be, but they're doing a great job spending extra time on their own, being prepared for practice. The way that our schedule went long last year, and now we kind of got spring jammed up, not jammed up, but just, it's a little more in a shorter period of time, right? So we want the same amount of work. So these guys, there's a lot of demand on the weekends of, being prepared and spending extra time. And I felt that. I felt them more prepared. I felt them improve on the field. I think the communication pre-snap has improved. Execution post-snap has improved. And we are pushing installs now. So they're doing a good job handling that. I think there's been improvement from a command standpoint. Everything is new for Tavian. Doesn't matter, how early you come in January or not. The speed at which the game plays is just, you can't replicate. So he's learning, and that's probably the biggest thing that's jumped out at me is that they're working to try to control the controllables. And as defense changes and things change and picture changes, they're learning from it and hopefully making each mistake once and moving forward. So I appreciate the way they're spending extra time. I think it feels like to be prepared for the day-to-day activities. Yeah.
All right, there is the offensive coordinator, brand new Brian Hartline, making his assessment. We will come back and try to diagnose the big highlights that came from those 3 men over at Ohio State. That's in a regular commercial break. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, and MLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
EasyCater. It's all the food for your workplace, all in one place. With over 100,000 restaurants nationwide on one platform. Whether you need food for company meetings or events, daily employee lunches, or your next lunch and learn, EasyCater makes food for work, work. And it doesn't stop at lunch. With EasyCater, you've got great breakfast options, snacks, treats, and more. Whenever and wherever work happens, EasyCater's here to make the food happen. Order now at easycater.com.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, three-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, two-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to LifeSearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit LifeSearch.com today.
Hey, it's Anthony, and I've got a fitting personalized for you. From the moment you walk in the Good Feet store, they're going to take the time to understand your unique lifestyle, your daily routines, and most importantly, the pain that brought you in to see them in the first place. If your feet ache after a long day or that discomfort starts radiating through your knees, your hips, your back, I've been there. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And they're working for me. I walked all over the place in New Orleans covering the big game. I was loving it. I literally was walking for miles around the French Quarter, Canal Street, everywhere, because I had my personally fit arch supports in my shoes. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people get back to feeling comfort on a daily basis. I want you to be one of them. Go in, take the free test walk. They're immediately available. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or goodfeet.com.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Michelle Smallman here. Are you dreaming of seeing your team draft their next superstar? Travel Wisconsin is sending 10 lucky fans and a guest to the draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Witness unforgettable moments and make memories that will last a lifetime. Don't miss out. Enter Travel Wisconsin's Dream Draft Sweepstakes. Visit travelwisconsin.com/draft to learn how you can win a trip to experience the biggest moment of the offseason. Epic moments that become lifelong memories are waiting to be discovered across Wisconsin. Terms and conditions apply.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Matty was a big Browns fan. Scratch that, we mean he's a big fan of the former Browns. Oh, yeah? The Baltimore Ravens. This is Rothman and Ice.
Back at it. It's kind of DJing this thing this hour. The multiple coaches on the air. It was fun. We don't get to talk to the coordinators too much. Usually bail out during football season after the Ryan Day show, and then coordinators take over, and we just get those interviews later for you. But nice to hear about them in March and spring ball. I will say this, Maddie, and you know, I like when Bill was. I remember you saying like, okay, we haven't heard about the quarterbacks yet, and then right when you said that, you know, Bill Rabinowitz asked Brian Hartline about the quarterbacks. Because Ryan Day wasn't asked, because what's he really going to say? So we were looking forward to hearing, you know, what Brian would have to say about the quarterbacks. And in like typical coaching fashion, it was the most coach speak you'll ever get. He wasn't going to put one guy ahead of the other. There wasn't going to be any hint. I think he was being pretty very careful in his assessment of the quarterbacks this early. Mm-hmm. And when you start throwing out stuff like day-to-day growth and preparing for practice and
controlling the controllables.
Actually, I'll give him this. The only thing he tipped his hand on a little bit, and this may be nothing, is that he did unsolicited say that everything is new for Tavian. and he can't replicate the speed at this level based on what he's going to face. That was so if there is part of it, then that's where he tipped it a hair.
Yeah, no, and I think that's absolutely real. When you're, I don't think we ever see or rarely see true freshmen come into this conference, especially at that position, and have it all figured out, especially in late March. It's just not a realistic thing. So Tavion, I think, absolutely has a bright future. You look at some of the things he did in high school, the dude's special. He has a lot of the traits that you want. Coming from the high school ranks to a big-time program like Ohio State to eventually be the guy. But for now, I don't blame him if it's overwhelming, a lot of this, and not even just the football aspect of it, but just being a college guy now, right? And going out on your own and figuring all those things out. The one thing that I did like from Hartline when he was talking about the quarterbacks right there at the end was he mentioned that those guys are putting in extra time now to figure all this out, because that's the tone that's got to be set by your quarterback. Is he's got to be the guy that everybody looks to and says, we believe in him based off of his skill set and his work ethic. And that's something I heard Julian talk about last week when he was referencing Will Howard, and what he learned from him was just the time he put in, the leader that he was, who he was within that building, and how so many people had respect for him within that building based off of what he was as a guy, but in this realm, what he was as a quarterback, which is very important. So I'm not going to expect much of anything from the coaches as far as definitive answers when it comes to the quarterback right now. We're so far away from game action. We'll get our glimpse at these guys in the spring showcase game, whatever it is. Sounds like it's going to be some good competitive stuff happening. But, yeah, I got to slow myself down. And my expectation from anybody over there to give us anything realistic when it comes to the quarterback, because I don't think they know right now. I think all of these guys are still figuring it out. Yes, there's guys that are probably, slotted in the coaches' minds right now, 1, 2, and 3. But as far as having everything figured out, they're not there yet, and they don't need to be.
No, they don't. And listen, if they were ultimately honest, I think we'd all know that Julian Sayin has the leg up on the other two. And from a talent standpoint, does that mean he's going to be the guy? No. It means the odds are he's going to be the guy. So that's kind of where they are. I agree with you. Our eyeballs will tell us a little bit of what we get to see and what the fans get to see. I am absolutely thrilled to hear Ryan Day say that a spring game is something that's important to him. I said this to you guys 2 weeks ago. The fans of this program are it's the ultimate fan base, and they kind of deserve to get a chance to see their team like that, and I think that's awesome. Whatever they do, seeing quarterback throw the football, however they really want to, the fact that he wanted to make it a little bit of a game, and I'm not talking about putting the team at risk. He's not going to put the team at risk. Things happen. You're playing football, but the fact that he wants to kind of lean into a little bit of the old school, this is how we've done it, this is how we're going to continue to do it. I want competition at every practice, and that's going to be the final one. So I'm thrilled about that.
Yeah, because it's been a thing around college football where we see program after program say, you know what, we're good. We're not going to have a spring game. Every coach is going to have their different reasoning and their different philosophies to go out there and either have a, glorified practice or, because of what we heard from Ryan Day, make it feel like it's, a game action. And that's going to be important to him. And I totally understand that. I'd love to ask him, is the youth and inexperience of this team a factor in your decision? Because, if he came back with a seasoned team, would he feel like it was necessary to go out there and have that game in the shoe? Who knows? But it does sound like you said, Coach Day is locked in on having this thing feel as close to a Saturday in Columbus as you possibly can. And I think with the newness of this year's team and how many new starters are going to be out there, I can completely understand his mindset and why he would want to go out there and see how those guys handle that type of environment.
That's it. I think you nailed it. I mean, all four of those defensive linemen are gone. Sawyer, JT, Tyleek, Ty Hamilton, those guys are gone. And so the one thing I do like is that this team has to lean into now. There is a new expectation. There's always been a certain expectation for Ohio State, and that's to try to win it all. Now that they have won it all, it does kind of up the ante for this team coming back. It does, because now you're not chasing to be better than the team previous. You're chasing to match it. It's a completely different thing. Last year's team was a very, very special, emotional team that stood together, that stayed together through the anger, through the disappointment, knew they had games left, knew they were maybe the most talented team in college football, and all they had to do was go prove it. And when the coaches kind of got out of their way a little bit and leaned into that strength and just said kind of blanket, eventually.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it lit the fuse and they couldn't be stopped. Some good games, no question about it, especially one against Texas. But I'm with you. Wherever this team ends up, he's going to need every last ounce of how he can put them in competitive situations.
And he referenced depth again, too. And that's such an important word that it's been thrown around in college football right now, especially when you're a program like Ohio State. And the expectation is we're getting into the playoff and we're going to play a few games in the playoff. You want to see what type of depth you have early on. And look, we always hear from coaches, too. Like, these guys know how to control themselves, at practices and games and taking care of your teammates, too, right? You're not trying to go out there and knock a guy's head off his shoulders. It's wrap up, go down to the ground, and let's move on to the next play. So that's the other part of this, too, is you can have those live game feels in a spring game and have players take care of each other, but also go out there with good energy and hopefully execution.
We will come back after the top of the hour SportsCenter update, and we'll come back with the NFL. And a certain team may have no choice now. We'll give you those details next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
The Fan is live and local with Morning Juice, Caffeinate, and Dominate.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
March is on at Lindsay Honda.
Shoot your shot and save.
It's madness. You get to choose your finance rate on over 600 new Lindsay Hondas. 0%, 1.9, 2.9, and up to a full 60 months long. And no trade-in required. This deal works with zero down. March is on at Lindsay Honda. Save with rates as low as 0% at lindsayhonda.com.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference.
See lindsayhonda.com for details.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter, and spring's going to be here before you know it. I know it feels cold now, but before too long, you're going to be outside running around, jogging, wanting to do golf, explore time with your family, get outside and do the things you love. Just be active. And listen, a lot of my friends, they're asking me about QC Kinetics joint treatments. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. And if you're wondering, maybe you could be a good candidate, let's see if the answer is yes to any of these questions. Quality of life impacted by chronic pain, knees, hips, back, shoulders, other things. Trouble sleeping, walking, day-to-day movement? Check. Next, avoiding surgery, the pain, the downtime? Check. Most importantly, do you miss doing the things I talked about when the spring and summer are here? Check. Don't wait. If you answered yes to one or any of those, you'd be a great candidate. You can go in there, go to QC Kinetics, ask for their free consultation, find out what it's all about, learn about the latest advances in regenerative medicine. They've got locations in Dublin and Gehenna, or you can go to QCkinetics.com/Columbus, or you're better yet, call 380-208-4544.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
He shoots, he scores!
No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. How is it sharp? How is it electric? Good questions. Try this on for size. 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime, forcing, playoffs on the line, golf. With 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour. Split into 6 teams. Atlanta, Boston, Jupiter, LA, New York, and the Bay. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Only on ESPN. Keep up. It's golf.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartemus. The Blue Jackets will be on the road this evening playing in Belmont Park. The Islanders will be hosting the Jackets at 7:30. Catch that game right here on The Fan. It will be game number 70 on the season, so time is of the essence. Columbus is experiencing a horrendous skid right now. They've lost 6 straight contests as well as 8 of their last 9, and the standings are pretty tight too. As it currently stands, Ottawa and Montreal hold the 2 wildcard spots in the Eastern Conference. The Rangers are 1 point out. Tonight's opponent, the Islanders, are 2 points out, and the CBJ are 4 points out. And the Ohio State women's basketball season ended last night in the round of 32. The Tennessee Lady Vols defeated the Buckeyes 82-67. They finished the season with a record of 26-7. And opening day is this week. We are all counting down to Thursday. This update is brought to you by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy's office at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or you can check him out online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Listening to Rothman and Ice, the #1 rated midday show in Columbus.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, welcome back. We'll talk a lot of ball and brackets and all that good stuff this afternoon. Bracket Watch 2025. Really wanted those Gators to go down. Because if you don't have them as your champ, you want them out. I know there are some people, Maddie, that just say, no, I want them to go out when I say they were going to go out. Well, that's greedy. I get that. If you can have that, more power to you. But if you're in one of those brackets where it's massive points to the champ and you don't have that popular brand winning it all, you want them out. But this feels like if we had to, and we'll do this maybe a little later in the program, but everybody's bracket should be okay. Maybe not awesome, but okay. Like there just hasn't been any crazy upsets after the first round.
You know I'm living good right now because we don't have any Cinderellas dancing anymore. Your Ubers are outside, Cinderellas. You're gone. We're good right now, baby. The conference that's dominated all year is still dominating this tournament with the SEC having 7 representatives in this thing. Big 10, Big 12 with 4, and the ACC with 1 standalone program, and that being the Duke Blue Devils. So, yeah, yesterday was great. I know we'll get into it, but, yeah, I'm in a good mood, man, because there's no Cinderellas. We don't need them.
Yeah. The only guy that got knocked was Slick Ricky. Can't rebound, benching my best player. You already know the answer. Don't ask.
Yeah.
All that. Calipari got him in his little plaid jacket. That was an upset. I mean, I don't think anybody had Arkansas coming out of there as a 10 in St. John's little bracket there in the mini bracket. So there's a story now on ProFootballTalk.com that says Aaron Rodgers will likely be a Steeler. And whenever he wants to make a decision, he spent a lot of hours at the facility. Or was it 6?
Yeah, he was there for a minute. Eating good, and probably. Some French fries on those sandwiches. You know how they do over there in Pittsburgh.
I was listening to a national show, and they were saying that I wonder what he did for 6 hours. And like they were trying to debate, like what could he have done? Like they weren't going over like schemes and stuff. Like it was just kind of hanging out for 6 hours.
Listen, I'm sure it was a combination of both, right? Some ball. Hey, let's crack open a bottle of, some red wine, have a steak. Probably a little bit of whining and dining going on. I wouldn't be surprised.
My buddy Jeff had another option. What if they just threw him in a dark room for about 6 hours and said, when you come out, we'd expect an answer. Or maybe they all went into the dark room together.
Okay.
When in Rome.
Sure.
Kind of deal.
Why not?
Aaron, we're going to go into a room here and talk. Then everybody just flips the lights out and they just kind of...
A little awkward, a little creepy.
Yeah, but it's right up his alley, though.
Yeah, but if I'm Mike Tomlin, I don't see Mike Tomlin doing that.
No.
He doesn't strike me as the type of guy that would want to...
Maybe they just do trust falls all day.
Join Aaron Rodgers in a dark room.
So, I've said this on the program. I really don't know what Aaron Rodgers has left. I think he's something more than nothing. I do. Is he worth $25, $30 million a year? I don't think so. I mean, maybe it's... is anybody worth what they're getting paid? There are a few guys that are. There aren't that many that are going to live up to the salaries of today for the quarterbacks. Guys making multiple millions per ball game. And I'm not sure which one we want to air first, but CB's, it's our pick. Soundbite du jour, Maddie. Would you like to hear from, I'll give you the options.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear from Cam Heyward again on this situation? Or would you like to hear from your guy, Emmanuel Acho, on the situation in Pittsburgh?
Oh, man. See, here's the thing. Cam Heyward did have that take out there. I ain't doing no darkness
retreat. They both
retreat.
kind of batted him around a little bit.
I'm not doing none of that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Cam, that was kind of his vibe early on. Emmanuel Acho, as we know, he can get a little spicy with his takes. He had the whole Will Howard take in the fall. So I think right now, CB, if you can handle this, let's start with Acho. I'd love to hear what he had to say.
I'll set it up for you.
Okay, please do.
Well, here's the prediction. All right? You haven't heard it.
No, I have not.
So I'm going to ask you. Aaron Rodgers going to Pittsburgh. Good idea. So-so idea. Awful idea.
Man, based off of what I've heard from Acho, I'm going to go with the last option.
Awful. Play it, CB.
James, I think the Steelers are making a monumental mistake waiting on Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is a Band-Aid on a situation that needs reconstructive surgery, which is the quarterback position. Aaron Rodgers is going to give you a 10 to 12-month stopgap on a situation that needs a 10 to 12-year solution. If you really think about it, and I heard this, the Steelers were supposed to be going to Michigan's Pro Day. But they heard Aaron Rodgers was coming in to take a visit. So instead of going to Michigan's Pro Day, where the Steelers could have scouted a defensive tackle in which they need, Michigan produces defensive tackles by the masses. Instead of scouting a cornerback, which they obviously need opposite JPJ, shout out to Darius Slay, a veteran there. Instead of scouting Will Johnson, a top 2 or 3 cornerback in the draft, they're waiting on Aaron Rodgers. They've ostracized Russell Wilson. They've ostracized Jameis Winston. They've ostracized so many quarterbacks because they're waiting on Aaron Rodgers. And now you're not looking into the future, going to a pro day where you could have watched your next 10 to 15-year starters work out. Instead, you're waiting on Aaron Rodgers, and Rodgers still hasn't made a decision. So to me, Jay, waiting on Aaron Rodgers is a monumental mistake that I don't even know if they realize they're making right now.
I hear what he's saying. I just don't. I'm not seeing that exact vision he's seeing because when it comes to the Band-Aid option that is Aaron Rodgers, in his opinion, it's one of their best options right now. They're not going to find their long-term answer at quarterback via free agency right now. Justin Fields would have been that option. He is a New York Jet. Their only chance at doing that is in the draft with their first, second, third-round pick, whatever that's going to look like if they want to pull the trigger on a quarterback. Them missing out on Michigan's Pro Day or any program's Pro Day, it's not the end of the world to me. There's so many opportunities that they've had to scout, look at these guys, the film and all that stuff. Those guys running around in shorts and, a tank top or wherever they're working out in at a pro day, that's not the end of the world. So they are in a position to where they have to wait on Aaron Rodgers, especially now after this weekend where Jameis Winston signs with the New York Giants. Who knows if they're done at the quarterback position. It doesn't feel to me that they want to run it back with Russell Wilson. So who else you got? If you're not calling Atlanta right now and offering up a trade package to get Kirk Cousins out of there, Aaron Rodgers has a nice bit of leverage right now where he has
unlimited.
He has the Steelers in a corner because you look around and where else are they going to go?
Okay, two things. I agree with you. One, does that mean they didn't send anybody to the pro day? Like it's one or the other? We all stay home and wine and dine Rodgers and we don't go? Like they can't send one scout to a pro day? Like Acho made it sound like it was this or that.
Right.
Like we cannot go watch that if we're waiting for Aaron. Really?
Yeah.
Unless he's saying that the head coach is the guy that needs to go.
Or Omar Khan,
yeah,
the
like,
GM.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but that means you don't trust your scouts. Like, okay, so I don't think that's that big of a deal, honestly. The other thing is, you said it. What other choice do they really have? Fine, they can go with Mason Rudolph or bring back Russ and try to make the playoffs again and have no ceiling, or take one real, no pun intended, shot in the dark and take Rodgers, who's probably hell-bent to have at least a decent year to end his career.
Oh, yeah.
He was playing well at the end of last season. If he stays somewhat healthy, I think you've got a much better option than anything that's out there. And if they're still in the winning business, which the last time I checked, Pittsburgh isn't rebuilding, that they just want to stay calm. And, I mean, here's the other part about it. He almost made it sound like they're waiting with no information. Like just waiting. Like they're being held hostage by Rodgers. He visited.
6
They didn't go
hours.
to him. He went to them. Yeah. There's something there.
There's no doubt.
There's something there.
For both parties, that being the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers, they're the most appropriate dance partners.
All right, now what's the Cam Heyward situation, CB?
So Cam Heyward was on Rich Eisen's show last week and was talking about maybe the urgency that's felt within the walls up in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I think we're in a state of, urgency. We have a lot of guys that, like myself, that are in the latter stages of their career, and we all want to win. It's not just enough to win a playoff game, which we haven't won in a couple years, and there's a bad taste in our mouth because of that.
Urgency, if you don't mind, give me a little bit more meat on that urgency bone. What do you mean by urgency here?
Urgency to win. Urgency to do it before we have multiple guys that, hang it up. You have a guy like TJ Watt. You don't just get a TJ Watt and you sit on that TJ Watt. You make sure you maximize those opportunities to win at a high level. And with Minka Fitzpatrick, all pro guys that are, soon to be Hall of Famers that we have so much respect for. We got to win now. It's not enough to look towards the future and say, 2 or 3 years out, we could be very good. 2 or 3 years out, we could be a totally, completely different team. So we got to make the most of this right now. We got to be engaged in trying to win this year. And I like the way our team sets up.
He's in a weird spot because you could hear it in his voice. I think if he was really being completely honest but not public with it, he'd say, I take Rodgers over the others. But what he's upset about is that this may be dangling this Rodgers thing, and then he may not choose them. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think he wants to get emotionally invested in Rodgers if it doesn't happen. But I think that what you heard there was his honesty saying, my athletic mortality is here. Mm-hmm. And who gives us the best chance to win? I think if he was pushed, he'd say Rodgers.
I agree. Cam Heyward's 35, TJ Watt's 30, Minka Fitzpatrick's 28, 29. Right now, these guys, Minka's fine. Minka's in his prime right now. He's going to be a monster. But TJ and Cam, I mean, can you really sit here and bang the table and fully say with your chest that those guys are going to be able to play like this for another year, 2, 3 years? Who knows? Maybe they will, but they need a guy, and Cam knows. We just need a guy to come in here and provide us with a safe floor and be consistent. You do that, we're going to take care of the rest on defense. It's what the Steelers do, and I think they can continue to do it. And with a guy like Rodgers, I think he gives them the best chance to do that.
I'm with you. I am. It's not like I can't compare them to the Eagles. I think Pittsburgh had more passing yards a game than the Eagles had. But I honestly think that he would give them the best option. I hope it happens. We'll come back with Party Like a RothStar next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, 6-ounce packages of fresh raspberries or blackberries are on sale for $1.88 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Do you realize making the minimum monthly payments on your credit cards, it'll take nearly 20 years to pay them off? What if I told you there's a way for you to get them all paid off in just a matter of weeks? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Imagine wiping out all of your credit cards. Here's where you go. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending is the easy button for tapping in to hundreds of thousands of dollars in your home equity. That's not the bank money, it's your money. Listen, your home, the value is way up. And now AFLcash.com has a super fast, hassle-free program that lets you turn that equity into cash. People who do this are living their best life, their credit card debt free, with cash left over for other stuff like home improvements, maybe a vacation. See how much money you can get now. Go to AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Say goodbye to greedy credit card companies. That's AFLcash.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF. NewmanRoofing.com.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Easy Cater. It's all the food for your workplace, all in one place. With over 100,000 restaurants nationwide on one platform. Whether you need food for company meetings or events, daily employee lunches, or your next lunch and learn, Easy Cater makes food for work, work. And it doesn't stop at lunch. With Easy Cater, you've got great breakfast options, snacks, treats, and more. Whenever and wherever work happens, Easy Cater's here to make the food happen. Order now at easycater.com.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the Fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, you might not be big on technology, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Maybe you've gone through a divorce or a bad breakup or a relative moved out. It's been hard, and you just want to take what you want and leave the rest behind. I will help you. Retiring and want to sell your commercial properties or land. I will help you. Sellers, whether you're selling as is or selling for top dollar, you're no longer alone. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A sunny day today. The trade-off, though, it's about to get super windy out here. Looking at some of the forecast models here, I'm thinking winds could be as high as 40, maybe 45 miles per hour. So hang on to your hats. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 36. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Let's all gather into the Kiki. It's time to party like a RothStar.
Yes, indeed. A lot of dudes partying over the weekend. Boy, basketball. I've got to lean into that, Maddie. All right, who's teeing off here?
Do your thing, man.
All right. I'll go to the game that we watched together. And it's hard for me not to go with Walter Clayton Jr. of the Florida Gators. You want to talk about a dude that put the team on his back. They were down 6, late second half. You and I were watching that series that changed the entire game.
Yeah.
UConn's going in for a layup and a foul. Guy tries an up and under move instead of shielding to his right and going up with his left. On the other end, Dunkville City. The whole thing fell apart on UConn. They had them until they didn't. And that was because Walter Clayton Jr., or as Candace Parker called him, Walton Clayton Jr. Walter sank a pair of contested threes in motion that were all twine in the final 3 minutes. If you want to talk about one shining moment, this is the guy that did it. Now, what's interesting about Clayton Jr. is that he was a kid who thought he was better at football than hoops and got offered by a lot of big programs. Gator football, Notre Dame, Tennessee, West Virginia, Nebraska, and others. So he plays for Iona, where he's playing for Patino, and he winds up transferring, and he was going to go to St. John's and play for his old coach. Instead, he goes to Florida. And what I've been told and learned about NIL, that Florida basketball, ironically, may have one of the top NIL budgets in the country. And so 23 points, 5 of 8 from 3 in a game where a number 1 seed had their backs against the wall, and he's the one that shot him right out of it. Walter Clayton Jr., partying like a RothStar.
While we were watching this game yesterday together, let the folks know what I had to eat.
It'd be a Caesar salad, folks. And it was a small, not a large.
With some salmon. I did have some blackened salmon on that thing. It was incredible. Yeah, enjoy watching that game with you yesterday. I'm starting in March Madness 2. Starting March Madness 2, and I'm talking about a senior that stands 6'4", 205. He's from St. Louis, Missouri, the home of the St. Lunatics. Shout out to Nelly. I'm talking about Caleb Love. Caleb Love was in his bag yesterday. Arizona, they take out Oregon, and he was locked in. Wildcats, they were down early. Pretty big, too, 19-4. The Ducks got out on him early. Caleb Love scored 20 of his 29 in the second half, finished the game with 29 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 of 7 from 3. Head coach Tommy Lloyd, he's been there for 4 years now, and he's gotten the Wildcats to the Sweet 16 3 times. That brand we know is historical in this sport. Tommy Lloyd is absolutely helping create more and more history, but this is why they brought in Caleb Love, right? He transfers in from North Carolina. He's a seasoned guy, and you need your vets to step up in big moments, and that's what Caleb Love did. He put the squad on his back. And here's what's interesting, because on deck is an Arizona and a Duke Sweet 16 matchup. And back in 2022, when Coach K was going on that retirement tour, Caleb Love sent Coach K and the Duke Blue Devils home. He dropped 28 points in that game. So we know he's built for big moments. We know he's built for March Madness. He did it again yesterday. Caleb Love for the Arizona Wildcats, partying like a Rasta.
Sank the big free throws, too, at the end of the game when that game got close. They blew that 7-point lead. Oregon comes back. By the way, yes, I was watching. I think the game ended about 12-20 last night. What a joke. But I was absolutely locked into that game. All right, I'll stay with hoops, and I'm going to go with a team that's going to the Sweet 16 for the first time in 14 years. And that'd be the BYU Cougars. Their star was a role player a year ago. Now he's their go-to guy in a lot of ways. He is Richie Saunders. He's a 6'5 junior, 25 points, 9 of 16, 3 threes. He was perfect at the free throw line. And maybe the most important part, 6 offensive rebounds. Stole the game. And here's the great little tidbit about Richie Saunders. His great-grandfather founded a company called Ore-Ida. And you know what that means? That means his great-grandfather invented the tater tot.
There we go.
And he is an absolute star. And a lot of people like BYU before the tournament as a 6. They're proving it. And Richie Saunders is the reason, partying like a RothStar. Tater tots for all my men.
I got 2 Duke Blue Devils sharing the same slot for Party Like a RothStar this week. Duke absolutely handled Baylor. Final score of that one, 89-66. Large part of that success came from Cooper Flagg and Tyrese Proctor. Cooper Flagg, only 11 shots in the game, but he was 5 of 11 from the field, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and a block in the game, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. But the story for the Dukies was Tyrese Proctor. 25 points, a couple assists, a rebound in the game, 7 of 8 from 3, 9 of 10 from the field. When they get other contributions like this outside of Cooper Flagg, this is what makes them absolutely terrifying. We talked about it last week. Their side of the bracket looks real good right now for Duke. And if they got other guys gaining confidence around Cooper Flagg, the best player in the country, a lot of people are going to be in trouble the next couple rounds. So I'm going Tyrese Proctor, Cooper Flagg. Very impressive outing yesterday. Whipping up on them Baylor Bears. 89-66, Proctor, Flagg, partying like a RothStar.
Yeah, they're looking the part for sure. All right, I'll go to the course, and guess who's back? Victor Hovland. This was pretty unlikely at the Valspar. So he's chasing Justin Thomas, who has this thing in the bag. And he kind of started to dribble a little bit, and then Hovland just saw the opening and took it. He birdied 14, 16, and 17. He wins by 1 over Justin Thomas. He was 50-1 this week, and there's a reason for that. The former Memorial champ, only 27. He had a brutal start to the year. Missed the cut at the Genesis. Missed the cut at the Arnold Palmer. Missed the cut at the Players. Shot 80 in the first round. This is the last guy you would have thought to bet on that he would just snap his fingers and get it right. This week he broke 73 times. Fired his best round on Sunday, which was 67. So he's got 7 PGA Tour titles now, his first since that Tour Championship back in 23. Got $1.5 million for it. And so he wins and just vaults up the FedEx now. Goes from 137 to 26. And goes back to the top 10 in the official world golf ranking. Victor Hovland, Captain Vic, partying like a RothStar.
Last candidate for me, this is CB's old thing. His old thing is Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston this weekend gets a decent deal with the New York Giants. 2 years, $8 million. But this is bigger than football. And the reason why he's in party like a RothStar for me this week is because the opportunities for Jameis Winston off the field are going to be through the roof when it comes to media stuff. New York is going to love this guy. He is absolutely going to crush it. I don't know. Maybe he does win the starting job. Who knows? But what he's stumbling into in the Big Apple now is perfect for his personality. We were at Radio Row. We saw it for a couple of days. You would have thought Jameis Winston was freaking, I don't know, Aaron Rodgers walking around there with the people that were mobbing this guy. His personality is infectious. It was incredible to see. It really was something there down there in New Orleans. He tweeted out this weekend, start spreading the news. So he's already in the New York vibe. Jameis Winston, great personality, decent quarterback. You know what you're getting. But for him, this is going to catapult him, I think, into a big-time media career in the next couple years in New York. So Jameis Winston, New York's going to love him. He's partying like a RothStar.
Well, I love him slinging that around, feast or famine style, that's for sure. We come back in 2 minutes with our friend Mike Tanier. Before we do that, just a quick minute for my friends at Low T Center, because this is the place to get you back to feeling your best. It's springtime. You should be feeling good, should be energized and motivated. The weather will get better. So if you're not, maybe something is up, and it could be signs of low testosterone. Don't wait. Find out. They're going to make it easy. You'll make your appointment on lowtcenter.com, so it's that easy. You don't have to leave the house to do that. And then book your appointment and then go, and it's really quick. You'll go in there. It's not like a doctor's office where you're going to wait an hour. It's simple blood test. They'll give you the results back there. You don't have to wait for an email a week later. And all of a sudden, you'll know where you are on the scale. So if you're a guy in your 30s, 40s, 50s, it's time to find out maybe why you're not feeling your best. And they have the experts. Their physicians specialize in treating low T with testosterone replacement therapy. For every patient, they have more than a decade of experience, and it's not a basic plan. They'll optimize and individualize it for you, so just know that you'll be taken care of that way. If you're a current patient, they're going to throw you $150 in referral credit for every new patient that you refer. So they got it all. LowTCenter.com is the place. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. Tanier is next. Does he agree that Rodgers will be in the Steel City sooner than later? You'll find out next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever. That's 4 lines on unlimited welcome for just $25 a line per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. You'll also get the new iPhone 16 Pro, 4 of them for the entire family when you trade in up to 4 phones from our top brands. That's a new phone for everyone, only on the network you can count on. Verizon. Visit a store today. 20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, kids. Anthony once did magic for birthday parties. See, when you say it out loud, it doesn't sound so bad. Back to Rothman and Ice.
Have a skill. Wanted to share it. We come back with our friend Mike Tanier. And love talking to Mike about ball, and we bring him on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. How's your bracket, big dog?
My bracket?
Yeah, your bracket. You fill one of those out?
I honestly did not. It would have been in shambles, like I think on Thursday at 12:15. But I got like 300 NFL draft picks to scout. I have been watching Ohio State versus like Oregon over and over again. So I've not in football. So I've not been able to watch too much college basketball.
I understand, my man. All right, is this going to be like, oh, what a feeling, Flashdance style, Rodgers to the Steelers? Is this going to happen? Am I going to be able to play that music when it happens? It feels like they both kind of need each other. And since they were with each other for 6 hours, and I said to Maddie, maybe they made him feel comfortable and locked him in a dark room for about 3 of that. But it does feel like they both kind of need each other.
You really encapsulated that. It's like they spent 6 hours together and they really need each other. It's like the saddest couple in the bar. You know, like the worst reason for two people to get together. We had a very brief fling. We both walked away from it, but we really need each other, so we're going back. That, you know, I have it at about like a 75% chance that Rodgers, winds up in Pittsburgh, and like a 25% chance that his ego can't take it. He announces that he's taking a leave of absence from the NFL to walk the land like Kane from Kung Fu, or go find enlightenment on a mountaintop somewhere. But what we know for sure, I think, is that everyone else has moved on. The Vikings, no matter how many times you try to rope the Vikings into this, they push it away. You know, the Giants got Jameis Winston and said, we might do something else. We might get a rookie, but Jameis gives us our, kind of wacky temporary solution here. It's going to be Steelers and bust for Rodgers, and I think it's going to be Rodgers or bust for the Steelers.
Mike, let's stay in the AFC North and go over to Cincinnati. I don't believe we've talked to you since Cincinnati went out there, put their money where their mouths are, right, which is a rare thing for that franchise. But just your take on the contracts that they handed out to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to keep those wide receivers down in the jungle.
you know, they were necessary. You know, maybe they were a little late, but when you looked at them, they were put together pretty well to give the Bengals an opportunity for a couple of years to keep the trio together, to keep some other pieces together, and to win. So kudos to them, because you're right. We always wait and say, boy, this is going to blow up in the Bengals' face. It didn't. I don't know what they do with Hendrickson at this point. I feel like you have to move him. I don't know if there's any money left in the vault to pay him or to make him happy. But you can see a scenario. Now you have Higgins, Chase, Burrow all locked up. You got some other pieces locked up. You trade Hendrickson. You draft defense, all the way down the line. Maybe you get some extra picks, and you can put this team together. That's the most likely team to be out there winning games, losing games 38-35. There's not many teams in the AFC that will be able to keep up with them now that they have that trio intact.
Do you have kind of like a knee-jerk reaction to whether the 49ers are going to be great this season or whether they're just going to wallow a little bit? It's so weird to me, right? Debo's gone, and I get it, and CMC is still a weapon unless they decide. I don't see them rebuilding or /reloading. Like, I feel like they are the very easy pick to bounce back only because they used to be very good. They only had 6 wins. How can they not get better? But I'm really kind of wondering what you think about them.
It's really a glass half full, glass half empty with those guys, because when you look at the guys they lost on defense, these are significant guys. You start looking at Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw and Hargrave and some of the others, and you could turn to me and say, yeah, they were all injured last year. And it's like, yes, they were all injured last year, and the team won 6 games, and now they're gone. So that's a 6-win defense there. Offensive side of the ball, I think the thing that they are looking at and that I would be concerned about is that C-Mac is coming off an injury-plagued season, kind of old for a running back. You look at George Kittle, phenomenal year, getting a little older at tight end. You look at Trent Williams, a little bit older. You have all these guys where you say these guys are on the downsides of their career and are coming off years where maybe they were a little dinged up. I think this is a team that's kind of soft rebooting, that they see a future where it's going to be Purdy and Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings, and they need to reload a little bit. I think they're going to have another kind of a down year, and they're looking for a second window of opportunity to come maybe in a year or two.
Mike, I know you say you've been grinding tape on these prospects out there, getting ready for the draft, which I believe today is we're exactly a month away from the draft, which is pretty exciting. Cam Ward's down in Miami right now, cooking up his pro day, and it feels like, Mike, that Tennessee is going to go with Cam Ward. I know the Vegas odds are kind of slanting that way, but who knows, things can change over a few weeks. But I want to ask you about Cleveland. In that scenario, if Cam Ward is off the board and Cleveland's up at 2, between, let's say, Abdul Carter and Shedeur Sanders, which way do you think they should go?
I would take Abdul Carter. I would put Travis Hunter in there as well, because if you get a guy as rare and unusual as him, you can grab him and you can say, well, maybe he's our receiver, maybe he's a corner, maybe he's both. But I have a feeling that when you had that conversation, they had that conversation with Myles Garrett, and they put the briefcase full of money in front of him and said, well, we know it's not just about money. You say, well, what's the plan for us? And I bet you they said, one of the plans could be you on one side, Abdul Carter on the other. Yeah, we've got a lot of other problems we have to solve, but you two will combine for 30 sacks during the course of the season. We'll win a bunch of games by a score, 20-13 or 16-13 while we're figuring stuff out, and you won't get double teamed, and people will talk about our great defensive line. I have a feeling that's one of the scenarios they're looking at, and that's the direction I would go in. I would not put Shedeur Sanders in the situation this team is in now. He needs to be on a team that has a lot more in place, a lot more infrastructure in place. And I would be worried that his father would look at the Cleveland Browns in their current situation and state his piece about what he thinks about that.
Who do you think took, if you had to kind of think of this off the top of your head, like teams that made like a big jump here in free agency that really was noticeable to you, and a team that maybe went the other way?
I would say the 49ers kind of went the other way. They lost a lot of pieces. Eagles lost a lot of pieces, but then when you looked at what they kept, like, they'll be fine. One team that I was really impressed by was the Denver Broncos. And the best place to be in entering free agency is a team that has won a bunch of games, has some money to spend, and also is already kind of a playoff team, because then you can really grab a guy or two and get a lot of bang for their buck. And this was the team, the Broncos, who got Hufanga from the Niners, who got Greenlaw from the Niners, went out and got Evan Ingram, who had 100 catches 2 years ago, a tight end who can be like Bo Nix's security blanket and just catch lots of short passes for him. I see that team as something that really developed and grew. If you look at the AFC, got teams at the top are just trying not to fall down. A lot of the teams in the middle didn't do anything, like the Steelers. The Broncos are a team that was able to do something and get better.
Which playmaker do you believe will have the more impactful year one with his new team? Devontae Adams with the Rams or Deebo Samuel with the Commanders?
That's a very good question. I see Devontae Adams doing a lot of the things Cooper Kupp was doing last year and the year before. And, you might not think they're similar, but you might be thinking of Devontae Adams 3 years ago, who was like this absolute playmaker. Now he's more of a possession guy. So I would look at Deebo and say, in that offense, they had nobody who was like the yak guy in the slot in Washington. Now they have him there. Obviously going to be motivated to get a win. Obviously hates the Eagles and wants to play them twice a year. So I'm curious to see how they deploy him and what a difference he can make doing something that team didn't really have anyone to do last year.
You feel like we're going to have some sort of a breakthrough team here this year, like somebody that we're not thinking of that could pull a Washington or something like that?
There always is. There always is. And if we knew who they were, then they wouldn't be that breakthrough team. I look at the Chicago Bears, and like a lot of the talk right now is that the Chicago Bears, they improve their offensive line, so Caleb Williams will have a little more time to throw. He should be a little bit better in Ben Johnson's offense. That should be a better environment for him. What happens if they draft, say, Ashton Jeanty from Boise State? What happens if they get that kind of running back now that they've got other pieces in place who can be like a Christian McCaffrey or a Saquon? What do you do then? Are they going to make noise? Now, they're in a tough division. They've got someplace to go. But that's an example of a team that you can look at and say, wow, the pieces are in place for them to suddenly be somebody we're talking about come September, October.
Mike, real quick, your favorite prospect that you studied so far that not a lot of people are talking about and should be talking about is whom?
I'm going to butcher his name, J.J. Pegues of Ole Miss, the defensive tackle who's also a Wildcat quarterback. If you watch Ole Miss games, you have this defensive tackle. He lined up next to Walter Nolan, and the two of them were like wrecking a lot of games. And then on like 3rd and inches, they would have him out there doing tush-push stuff as the quarterback. So I think he is really a good defensive tackle. I think he's a starting defensive tackle in the NFL. But I love the idea of him being William Refrigerator Perry for some team on the other side of the ball and going out there and scoring 5 or 6 touchdowns in addition to getting maybe 5, 6, 7 sacks on the defensive side of the ball.
Thanks, my man. Great stuff as always. We'll send you back to the scouting. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Take care and enjoy your week.
Thanks. Mike Tanier with us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. All right, we're going to come back with a Buckeye Bulletin. We had a heartbreaker last night, but they did crown a national champ. We'll tell you who that is next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Common Man here. I take my job as endorser for Germain Lexus very seriously. I want to make sure that every Lexus on the lot meets my expectations. That's why I personally sit in each one. I massage the leather. Sometimes I take a nap in the back seat. If that's not a selling point, I don't know what is. Deal time. Lease the 2025 ES350 for as low as $409 per month or get 3.49% financing up to 60 months on their most popular new Lexus models. 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton. Check them out online, GermainLexus.com.
Raising Cane's is celebrating our golden birthday year. Join the party with golden chicken fingers and a limited edition golden blush puppy that benefits local pet organizations. Get yours while supplies last. See RaisingCanes.com for details. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Bats are us when dreams don't get in. Bats are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
Bats are us when dreams don't get in. Bats are us.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Easy Cater. It's all the food for your workplace, all in one place. With over 100,000 restaurants nationwide on one platform. Whether you need food for company meetings or events, daily employee lunches, or your next lunch and learn, Easy Cater makes food for work, work. And it doesn't stop at lunch. With Easy Cater, you've got great breakfast options, snacks, treats, and more. Whenever and wherever work happens, Easy Cater's here to make the food happen. Order now at easycater.com.
Now at participating locations, it's UDF's new Sicilian-style pizza. We serve it on our family recipe focaccia crust, handcrafted in our bakery. And right now, get any size Coca-Cola fountain drink free with your purchase. Pizza from United Dairy Farmers, made for you.
Bishop and Friends.
It's the best ice cream I've ever had in my life. Some of their other flavors are top-notch, and it will give you a mouthfeel that you've never had before.
Bishop and Friends, sponsored by Diamond Cellar.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on The Fan.
Evan Cohen here. Picking a place to build a life is a lot like selecting a draft pick. Make a decision that will set you up for long-term success. Pick Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you'll find dynamic career opportunities, beautiful seasons, affordable living, and legendary weekends. From its high quality of life and great schools to its fine arts, culinary, and pro sports scenes, Wisconsin gives you so much to look forward to. That's why you should pick Wisconsin. Learn more about making Wisconsin your home. Visit pickwisconsin.com.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. How is it sharp? How is it electric? Good questions. Try this on for size. 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime, forcing, playoffs on the line, golf. With 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour. Split into 6 teams. Atlanta, Boston, Jupiter, LA, New York, and the Bay. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. Tune in every week for TGL matches, only on ESPN. Keep up. It's golf.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution specialists.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, Buckeye Bulletin time. Congrats out to Jesse Mendez, the Ohio State wrestler who won his second straight championship at a $141 over the weekend. And obviously he is one of the all-time greats to ever wrestle in a scarlet and gray singlet. And he is just incredible. And so he beat this kid from Nebraska, and he got his second national title. So congrats to him. The heartbreaker I was talking about was the Ohio State women's hockey team that had that lead with 20 seconds to go in the game against Wisconsin in the title game. And we got a hand on a puck in the crease, which is a no-no, but that puck was going in. So they call a penalty shot, and then the girl from Wisconsin went with about 8 dekes in front of the crease and scored. Then they win it in overtime. It's one of the all-time heartbreakers. To have that lead, I mean, they were a player down, so they were on a kill, but still, 19 seconds left in the game for that to happen.
That's tough.
It just felt like the championship was theirs, but that's the way the puck kind of bounced for them. But what a season.
And what a program that they've got going on over there, right? The women's hockey program has been right there towards the top of the mountain or at the top of the mountain a couple times here recently. So that's awesome to see. I know they don't want to hear any of that right now, because just looking at what you just described and how it went down, that's the definition of heartbreaking, right? You're that close to accomplishing everything you want to accomplish after all the hard work you put in, and it gets ripped away from you in that form and fashion. Just stinks, to say the least. So we feel for them over there, but big picture stuff is they had a tremendous season.
Championship after championship.
And that program.
Coach Nadine has been just killing it. And they had another one kind of in the bag, and it just got away from them at the very end. As far as the men, they're going to make their march on the ice here. CB, you have the details of where Buckeye fans will be able to hear them.
Yes, you will be able to hear them on the AM station beginning at 1:55 on Thursday.
Awesome. All right, so they'll start their run, and we'll be watching them. We come back to Ohio State football. Ryan Day and his coaches took to the podium today. And I think we were all kind of ready to take this kind of spring game showcase and like, all right, doesn't sound that exciting. Mm-hmm. And then Ryan Day kind of injected a little more excitement back into that for April 12th.
No, like my plan is to have a spring game. I just think we need to save a little bit of wiggle room in case we take injuries. That's it. So we want to do this. We want to play a spring game. Now, there may be some guys that are held from a spring game, but not many. We feel like, I think we're 159 days away from playing Texas, and that day will matter to a lot of young players. So we need to get out there and compete. The format of it and how it works will probably be similar to what we've done in the past. So it'll be a great opportunity for fans and folks to see our guys and get out there and play. That part of it, to me, it is what it is, but we need to go do it. It's important that we start the season fast, and I think that first step is playing in the spring game. If we're down some linemen or down some bodies and we have to adjust, we'll figure that out from there. But we're, I guess, just 3 weeks out here, and so we plan on playing in that spring game on April 12th. So looking to get a great crowd, and I know we got some great things playing that day.
Good for them. Good for them for not just chucking that thing. There's plenty they can do. He's into competition. It's always been what Ohio State's been about. And he learned under Urban Meyer about what it means that every last moment of a practice can mean something to a kid. Now, I'm not talking about putting a team in harm's way, but it's not a throwaway is what he's saying. And they'll hold guys out that probably don't need to risk it. But the depth and what he learned this year, Matty, I think he's leaning into this, and I'm glad he's doing it.
Yeah, look, I would understand if it went the other way, because I understand why some of these programs don't view this spring game as, being a paramount thing that you need to take care of. But for Coach Day, you're looking down the line, and he mentioned that Texas game, 150 days and some change away, and you don't want especially your quarterback going into that venue, that being the shoe with 100,000 people in there and the world watching and game day and big noon kickoff and everybody, who I'm sure will be here, and have them being wide-eyed going into that moment. So if you can get some of that feel here in a few weeks for not only your quarterback but your other young players that are going to have to be ready to go against one of the best programs in the country, then I can understand why you want to do it. You just got to go about it responsibly, try to get through that thing as healthy as possible, and get some good things done, because that's your one opportunity in front of, 70,000, 80,000, whatever it's going to look like here in a few weeks, to have those guys understand that when you come out of that tunnel in week 1 against Texas, this is what it could feel like and may feel like. So there's definitely value in that. And look, I'm looking forward to it for us as well, to see what these guys can do and some of the new faces that are going to have a lot more on their plate this season.
Speaking of a new face, so Matt Patricia comes in as the DC, and I think we talked about this a lot with his history, and part of this was because, being in New England, he never really needed to have a top 10 defense there. They took a lot of chances, took a lot of risks. They knew they could probably get away with that with the offense they had with Belichick, and knowing that they could ramp things up and get ready for the playoffs. So I feel like they didn't have to play too conservatively there. And so when he got to the Lions, I think what he was getting known for, unfortunately, was not that he didn't have his teams prepared to play. I think that's probably the one thing you could say that Matt Patricia really did really well in the NFL, if he had his team ready to play. I think where it got away from him, if you watch those Detroit games, is they could not protect the lead. Like, it just, I don't know whether it was adjustments or lack thereof, and the wheels started to fall off. And so now he's back in college, and I think a lot of that kind of followed him a little bit, like that he was a total fail in the NFL and as a head coach. Now he's right back in his wheelhouse, coaching very highly talented players, knowing that Ohio State's offense should be putting points up on the board. I think he can get back to being that guy, Matty, taking some risks, being that defense. And because the only time you really can't is when you don't feel you have an offense. And you can only go into a game thinking, if we give up this amount of points, we're not winning.
Yeah, I think he has a chance to be this year's Chip Kelly. And what I mean by that is a guy that maybe you get into that head coaching stuff. It's maybe not what he does best, but this guy knows defense the same way Chip Kelly knew offense, and they get to walk into the Woody every day, coach up some of the best guys in the country, and have a singular focus on one thing and one thing only, and that is continuing the momentum that Jim Knowles and the defenders that are no longer here built and helped build over the last couple of years, and that was one of the best defenses in the country. So I think this could work out well for him, and he can be energized every day knowing that I just got to be locked in on having Ohio State be one of the best defensive units in the land.
Here is Ryan Day on his early time with Matt Patricia.
A lot of energy, building relationships right now, just getting started, but I think the feedback from our players has been good. I think they really enjoy the conversation, the extra time that they get a chance to spend some one-on-one time with Matt. His experience and credibility speaks for itself. I think they know that, but now they're getting a chance to meet him, and I think it's been great. I think we've gotten great feedback from the recruits as well, who have had a chance to meet with him. And we're just starting to dive into some of the different things that we can do on defense, and there was a couple good things today. So we'll see. Again, just a couple weeks in, but again, I look at the staff chemistry and then chemistry with the players, and so far that's been really solid.
If you're Coach Day, AR, the guy can coach defense. You know that. But the feedback that he mentioned that he's getting from recruits early on, that's arguably the most important thing right now, because that's the tone that's got to be set with him going out there and representing the brand that is Ohio State and getting these guys and understanding that with me at the helm now, along with Larry Johnson and all the other guys, this is where you want to be. So that immediate info that Day's getting back from recruits, I think is absolutely huge to hear out of the gate. Long way to go. He's got to go out and prove it time and time again. But that's the tone that you want to set if you're Matt Patricia, is that I know ball. I got the X and O stuff, but I can do my thing on the trail as well.
Yeah, listen, Ohio State sells itself a lot. And coming off a title, this is the time to cash in on both sides. All right, that's today's Buckeye Bulletin. We will come back top of the hour after a SportsCenter update, get into our deep dive, and the pressure is on. The draft is closing in. Browns, Bengals. What should they do? We'll talk about it in the third hour. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Common Man and T-Bone are idiots. You should listen to them anyway.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan, Ohio's idiot destination.
I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is simple and effective. At the end of the day, it's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And betting reduced juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
When you buy from Pella, you could meet Brad, Bob, maybe Mike, or 54 others that make our local Pella team so awesome.
And if you buy from me, you'll get to meet me.
Just a one-man operation, Wilson?
I've got a bunch of cousins helping me, but based on their work, I'm not sure they've got thumbs.
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Aaron?
Yeah, Jerry?
Something is wrong.
Something's wrong?
Yeah, it's definitely something.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Thumping and bumping and jumping.
What is?
But it's not pumping.
Get Eco.
ECO. Jerry?
Yeah, Aaron.
Are we talking about your sump pump?
Yeah. Isn't it great?
Isn't what great?
I like the sound of it. Sump pump. Sump pump, sump pump, sump pump.
Get Eco.
ECO. Jerry, can you keep a secret?
Aaron, I'm as silent as a bank vault in Switzerland.
I kind of like to say it too.
Hey, I should invent a sump pump that lets you know when it's working.
How would it do that?
It would say, sump pump, sump pump, sump pump.
That's a great idea, Jerry, but a sump pump should be exactly like you.
How so?
As silent as a bank vault in Switzerland.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Did you know even the smallest increase in mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan? Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. It's true, even a 0.25% change in rate can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage. But with Third Federal's new Early Rate Lock, you don't have to take chances. Early Rate Lock is the only pre-approval that locks in your rate at pre-approval, even before you find a house. Plus, we're so confident that our rates are the lowest, if you find a lower rate, we'll beat it or give you $1,000. And now through April 15th, get pre-approved with Third Federal and we'll pay all of your closing costs. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today.
Right now at Third Federal, even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. Zero closing costs on low-cost loans only. See conditions for lowest rate guarantee at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Why would we trade our best player?
Well, at least you got to watch him in person when he was here.
I named my only son after him.
So you'll always remember his name.
Yeah, but what do I do with this jersey?
Luckily, the company has a great return policy.
I wore it for 6 seasons.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I need new rotors.
When you buy 2 Duralast rotors during our spring sale, you get Duralast brake pads free.
Free?
With the rotors.
Well, that's great. What if I need extra stopping power?
You can upgrade to Duralast Gold pads for just $10.
So Duralast pads are free?
Yep.
And an upgrade is just $10?
That's right. Part of the spring sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartemus. The Blue Jackets will be on the road this evening playing in Belmont Park. The Islanders will be hosting the Jackets at 7:30. Catch that game right here on The Fan. It will be game number 70 on the season, so time is of the essence. Columbus is experiencing a horrendous skid right now. They've lost 6 straight contests as well as 8 of their last 9, and the standings are pretty tight too. As it currently stands, Ottawa and Montreal hold the 2 wildcard spots in the Eastern Conference. The Rangers are 1 point out. Tonight's opponent, the Islanders, are 2 points out, and the CBJ are 4 points out. And the Ohio State women's basketball season ended last night in the round of 32. The Tennessee Lady Vols defeated the Buckeyes 82-67. They finished the season with a record of 26-7. And opening day is this week. We are all counting down to Thursday. This update is brought to you by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy's office at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or you can check him out online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and I feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, we'll get into it. Third hour, we'll talk Buckeye football with our friend Spencer Holbrook, bottom of the hour, 2:30. So don't go anywhere. Or if you do, come back. Listen, I've been locked into the brackets like everybody else. Not overly locked in. I told you guys last week I didn't think we'd have an obscure champ this year. I thought the tier at the top was pretty massive, and it's kind of turning out that way. It doesn't mean Florida couldn't have lost. They probably should have lost, but they didn't. And I don't think there's an overreaction, but it feels like the NCAA tournament, and I heard Wally Zerbiak say this over the weekend, and I want to get your guys' opinion on it. They were talking about how this tournament has lacked true upsets and that we've had over the years. Now, listen, there are 16 teams left with 7 from the SEC, 4 from the Big Ten and Big 12, and the ACC has 1 team. Those are 4 massive conferences. There's not one mid-major, not one Cinderella left in this tournament. I like it. I know you don't, but I understand your point that they're good to a point. The good thing about us not having the early upsets. So we've kind of robbed Peter to pay Paul here. We have sacrificed the early rounds on Thursday and Friday where you're blowing off work, you got one eye on the screen or whatever, or you're in class watching the games, not paying attention. And we've sacrificed that buzzer beater, like that stuff early, to now get a bunch of what we're looking at as possible heavyweight fights. And I mean big-time fights. If we get Duke, Bama, if we get Auburn, Michigan State, if we get Houston, Tennessee, or Houston, UK, like now we are going to have some beauty. So we've sacrificed. I get that. The answer to my question, or the question that was on the table, and there's a theory that the best mid-major players are getting lured for the big money by the big brands that can afford them, and that because they're getting paid in NIL. Yep. And the years of mid-major teams staying together for years and taking down a big boy.
It's a wrap.
Unless you run into a very young big boy like Duke or like a team that Kentucky, like you get some young teams and maybe you catch them where they don't have the experience in the tournament and you have experience as a mid-major, but
that's a very small percentage for me now, AR.
Yeah.
I think where we're heading, especially when you're dealing with a Duke program that while they are young, the talent is experienced. Like Cooper Flagg is a grown man already with his play. Like they haven't been there, but they're just that darn good that it may not matter. So, yeah, I think absolutely what we're looking at moving forward will be more of this, and I'm okay with it. My whole thing with Cinderella's is, hey, you get to the Sweet 16, that's it. I don't want to see you after that, but because these massive programs like a Florida, Duke, whoever, Auburn, whoever you want to pick that you view as a big boy this year, they got the pockets. And sometimes these mid-majors, they don't have them, and those head coaches and those collectors are saying, hey, we can get that guy, and he can help us win right now, and you're seeing the impact that it's making around the sport.
Yeah. I'm not going as far as saying it's ruined. A big part of what makes this tournament really flash for me and make it the best thing in sports is that it had that underdog feel to me, that anybody could beat anybody on a given night, especially in basketball. Team gets hot. Team shoots from three. Some team gets into foul trouble. They get down early. They panic. Foul. All that exists in this tournament. And what we have found is, outside of last night, with you had a buzzer beater in the Maryland game, and Derek Queen, great shot, young kid, give me the ball, Jimmy Chitt with that thing.
From Baltimore.
It was unbelievable.
That's why he's built different. That's what he said.
It was great. Now, as I'm watching it, I'm not going to lie to you.
He traveled.
There was a travel there.
Yeah.
There's no gather step in college. CB, are you shaking your head because you agree or because you think he didn't travel?
I think the question on when the ball was picked up based on when the foot was planted, I think is in question.
I've watched it many times, and I think he took one giant leap for mankind in 3 steps, and I think that he got away with it. Let's celebrate the shot. Let's celebrate the shot.
Awesome.
And I would say this, live, I wasn't sure he traveled. I did have to go back for sure. What upset me the most is that when they kicked it back to the studio, and not one announcer on the game itself, not one person even brought it up. Like, I'm okay. Like, Maddie, I can live with the answer. Nope, live, you can't call that. Human eyes are never going to pick that up. He did a great job with his move. But once you have a chance to sit back and analyze it, like,
give me some.
Chuck and Clark and Kenny do, and Ernie. Now, here's what happened. And I'm betting this happened. I don't know for a fact this happened. Because I'm watching this at midnight or whenever I'm watching this. They come back to the studio. It's all about, wow, March Madness has arrived. We have our buzzer beater. What a shot. What a kid. Awesome. Here we go.
By the way, I knew we should have took that over.
Which one?
Wasn't it 1.5 CB for a buzzer beater?
Yeah, but we only have one.
It was a half.
It was half.
One had to happen.
I'm sorry. I thought you went 1.5. Okay. What had happened was
Derek Queen got us.
So he gets us. So they go back to the studio, and it's all good. All celebrating, that's fine. And I'm just waiting for somebody to bring it up, because if I can somewhat see it, the experts have to see it.
I don't know why you expect anything from Kenny and Charles. Based off what they provide on NBA.
I'm expecting is Ernie to ask them.
NBA. Listen, I understand.
Charles admitted one of the games they asked him about, he didn't even watch.
Yeah, and that's what
he was watching this.
Which that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But you've been not only on these guys, but you've been on a lot of these these studio shows they are the last couple of years. This has been a thing for you to where you feel like they're not bringing it.
Well, am I the only one? Like, I mean, how can I be the only one? I feel like, so here's what happened. They go to commercial, and down the road, Maddie, they start getting lit up. Chuck's getting texts. Where's the producer? Somebody in that booth has to bring that up to Ernie. Hey, ask him if that was 3 steps or not. Because I said this to CB earlier. I guarantee if you ask Clark, Kenny, and Chuck, if that was 3 steps, by the letter of the law, not just generic, just letter of the law, was that a travel? You even said it right out of the gate. If it was, I don't think all 3 of them would have agreed. I think we would have had a little bit of a split on it. I don't think they all 3 would have said, nope, it was fine, it was perfect, move along. So what they did is they grabbed Gene Steratore, wherever he is, in studio somewhere, and they pull him onto the set. They start asking him, and he's erring on the side of, no, it's a little tough. You got to find out where he has possession of the ball. And then he says something out of the blue that blew me away. Listen, he could have bobbled that ball all the way to the rim. It wouldn't have been a travel. Like, it depends on when he gets possession of it. Yeah. And so I'm not here to take away from Derek Queen. What I'm here to tell you is I can't believe we didn't get one opinion on. The internet was ablaze for Colorado State that they got job.
It really was. It was, look, at the end of the day, I thought he got away with a bit of a travel, but the dude executed a tough shot with the game and their season on the line. And great play call, I think, drawn up by their head coach. Queen, big-time recruit coming out of high school, and now here he is making a historical moment for that program. And Maryland's been a squad all year long within this conference. We've been watching them and how good they be and how complete they've been within the Big Ten when you talk about how good offensively they were, second in points allowed, and now they're in the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2016. So that's what we love about the tournament, those moments.
Yeah.
It absolutely delivered, and credit to Queen. I mean, just banking that shot at that angle, fading away, that's tough in a good way, like that he knocked that down. And so, yeah, fun stuff for sure. But, yeah, I thought he got away with a little bit of a travel, for sure.
And before you think that I, somehow had Colorado, I don't. I had Maryland. I had them advancing. Yeah. I had them in the bracket. We all have every one of our Elite Eight left outside of St. John's. So if you're somebody out there that has a perfect Elite Eight, that means you took Texas Tech. That means you didn't take St. John's, which is okay. But everybody else's bracket should be in great shape. You should have your Final Fours. You should have your champion, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And
Florida.
That's why CB and I wanted Florida to go down. Even if we had them in the final. Yeah, you got to have them. CB, the amount of points you get for that champion, you got to have them ousted.
I think it depends on your pool and what other people have in their Final Fours, because if they had a St. John's go out, it actually might benefit you in the long run, but it really just depends.
So now, if we're going to get anything crazy, it would probably be this BYU team staying hot and taking out Bama.
They can get buckets, man.
Yeah. And then the other...
What's the over-under for that game? My goodness, with the way those two teams like to get up and down, be a lot of buckets in that. It's got to
be in the one.
But no, you're right, AR.
60s.
That's the one team that can shake the room for sure.
Yeah.
The rest of the way.
And this Ole Miss team, they were going crazy. Man, these sixes. That was the magic number this year.
Yeah, they were going off from 3.
Yeah, the fact that Beard hasn't gotten, well, obviously he's still coaching, but the fact that he might not get a new job this offseason, he's going to probably be the hottest name next cycle.
Yeah, their offense looked incredible. 58% from the field, 11 of 19 from 3. Oh, yeah. So
that was like high 160s. You know what the over-under on the BYU
Bama? What is it?
$175.
And Sears hasn't even woke up yet offensively for them. That's the scary part about Bama surviving right now is
that's crazy.
One of their top dogs isn't really cooking yet.
The difference between like BYU, Alabama, and if you're watching like Purdue, Houston, that's going to be on a different planet.
It is.
Those two games. All right, we're going to come back and hit you with the teams that are technically on the clock, and it's the Brownies and the Bengals. We know where the Brownies sit. Will the Bengals continue to add fuel to their fire? We'll talk about it next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on unlimited welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Columbus Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
When was the last time you had your plumbing inspected? Small issues such as tiny leaks or old water heaters can quickly turn into big problems if they're not caught early. Take action with Logan Services and schedule a free winter plumbing safety inspection to help keep your home running smoothly. Schedule your free inspection now and experience the fast, friendly service you've come to expect from Logan Services.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is caught up in the madness, and he's passing it to you for a slam dunk of deals. He's got rates as low as 0%, leases starting from $249 a month. How about a 2025 Honda Prologue all-wheel drive Elite? Lease it for $297 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles with only $19.99 down. And he's even throwing you an extra $1,000 for your trade. More than 500 new and pre-owned to choose from. See dealer for details at Germain Honda of Dublin.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
And today, Pella's excited to announce our 100-year anniversary.
Cut! Leslie, you accidentally said 100 years.
Not an accident, Wilson.
What?
When you do the windows that look the best, you tend to stick around for a while.
I can't compete with that. Buy from her.
Get the windows that have been around for 100 years. The windows that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony, and I've got a fitting personalized for you. From the moment you walk in the Good Feet store, they're going to take the time to understand your unique lifestyle, your daily routines, and most importantly, the pain that brought you in to see them in the first place. If your feet ache after a long day or that discomfort starts radiating through your knees, your hips, your back, I've been there. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And they're working for me. I walked all over the place in New Orleans covering the big game. I was loving it. I literally was walking for miles around the French Quarter, Canal Street, everywhere, because I had my personally fit arch supports in my shoes. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people get back to feeling comfort on a daily basis. I want you to be one of them. Go in, take the free test walk. They're immediately available. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or goodfeet.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
The sunshine is back today. It'll be windy, though. Winds gusting up to 40 miles per hour. Today's high 56. Tonight's low 36. Heading into Tuesday, expect scattered showers with a high of 53. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Little Bet365 time.
Let's get into it, folks, because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 has launched, a new sign-up offer. You bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. Customers will receive bonus bets after signing up.
All right, I'm mental hedging this thing.
What do you got?
We don't beat Sorokin. We don't win on the island. The only way for me to jinx this thing is to bet on the Islanders tonight.
Okay.
I don't know how else I can turn this thing around. Except flying there, stripping down, and running out in the middle of the ice.
Oh.
Changing the momentum of things.
Will Ferrell, we're going streaking style?
Somebody's got to turn the momentum.
Okay.
Now, the fact that Monahan's back, Goody's back, they're going to ride Elvis here. The value on this game is certainly with the Islanders laying a goal and a half at plus 180. That's where the value on this game is. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can bet into the Jackets right now and just hope it all works out. The other thing I would say is if you wanted to go with a first goal, and like I said, this would be a tough one because of Sorokin back there. Maybe the first goal would most likely come from the Islanders. I do think there's some value here on Marchie. Well, he's only 12-1. It's not horrible, but that's not real big value. I would say maybe Fantilli at 20-1.
Okay.
For first goal, but I'm more into trying to help them by betting against them.
I like it. I like where you're at with that. Yeah. Baseball season officially starts on Thursday, folks. It's time to get it going. Well, I guess baseball season already kind of started, but for the rest of the league, officially print the shirts. Season. We're getting there, CB, because Thursday, Guardians, Reds, everybody else is getting busy. I'm looking at Bet365 right now at my boy. Ellie De La Cruz, his home runs for this year, 23.5. The over is minus 130. The under is plus 100. I'm here to tell you right now, we might get a 35-70 season from Ellie. 35 home runs and 70 stolen bases. He is about to absolutely pop off. If it wasn't for the human and Shohei Ohtani, or I guess, I don't know, maybe he's not human based off of what he does every single year. This guy, I think, would absolutely win an NL MVP over the next 2 years. But I'm absolutely banging that over, AR, for his home runs this year. We're at least getting 25 home runs, maybe even 35, maybe even 40
if he starts hot. That?
Minus 130 is the over. Plus 100 is the under.
So you're not... So the over is a pretty heavy favorite, minus 130.
Yeah, I'm unloading the bank account on that over.
You're going to tie it all up till...
Hey, it's baseball season, you know? You got to be patient.
Tie it up through August?
Why not? Why not?
Okay.
I'm just trying to get some of these out there this week, you know? We're getting it going
I like that.
On Thursday.
We both have them, so we're both rooting for it.
No doubt, man. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only. Must be present in Ohio. If you... or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
How many mock drafts is the right number? I saw a mock draft for the Bengals the other day that was 10.0 already.
That's incredible.
Things changing that much?
Well, with free agency and all these pro days and all that, I guess there's always something to tweak.
How weird would it be if they somehow went offensive lineman or something at...
Who's that?
Cincinnati. Where are they picking 17?
Yep.
If they don't go defense, I'll be blown away. Somebody will have to drop to them for me to feel like... If they don't get something in that back end or something different from a guy that can get after the passer from the interior, I will be very surprised. But like I said, you never know which way the board's going to drop. But if I was betting, I'd bet defensive player at 17.
There's a heavy defensive presence in the first round and throughout this draft from a lot of the analysts, a lot of the dudes that we watched in college football this past year. I am never going to push back on a team protecting their quarterback. If they feel like there's an offensive lineman there that can step in right away and protect Joey B, I'm all for that. But I think they need to take a page from the Los Angeles Angels, because the Los Angeles Angels back in 2021, when they were drafted in the MLB draft, all 20 of their draft picks were pitchers. If the Bengals went out and used every single draft pick on defense, I would completely understand and would not be mad at it at all, because that's where this thing needs to head now. You know what you're getting on offense. It's going to be one of the best shows in the league, and it has been, and that's going to remain with the chemistry that will build and get better and better with the three-headed monster with Higgins, Chase, and Joey B. You add in Chase Brown. You bring back Samaje Perine that can help you out on third down as a pass-catching back. We know what time it is on offense, and I didn't even mention Mike Gesicki. But on defense, that's where this thing needs to get quickened, sharpened up very quickly, because if that's the case, you're looking at a Super Bowl contender. That's just what it is. Or they get to the middle of the pack defensively this year, they're going to be right there with Kansas City, with Baltimore, with Buffalo, with the top guys in the AFC. So, yeah, back in 2021, the Los Angeles Angels, every pick they used in the draft was on pitching. And if the Bengals wanted to do that on defense, I would see the vision.
So there were no Angels in the outfield, is what you're saying?
No. The only Angels in the outfield were the guys behind in the bullpen in the outfield, and those were pitchers. That's all that matters.
Thank you, CB. All right, so here's my take on the Brownies. If Cam Ward's gone, which he probably will be, and I know they're desperate for a quarterback, it feels like Abdul Carter would be the pick in this division against those quarterbacks, against those offenses. I'm talking specifically about Baltimore and Cincinnati. That the nightmare of all nightmares is having those guys on the edge, Garrett and Carter, going against those quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. Are you more tempted to take the quarterback if Cam's gone, taking Shedeur, or other if Carter's there?
I would.
I'm right now today forced. I got to turn the card in. Cam's gone.
Yeah.
Today I'm taking Abdul Carter too.
I understand that. That's quite the duo.
And I'm picking up a quarter, and I'm trading back up in the late first round maybe to get Jackson Dart.
I don't know if he's going to be there. I don't think he's going to be there.
Where? Late first?
I think he's going top 20.
No.
I think
told you guys 2 months ago that was the plan. Now it's changed.
What's out there right now, I think he's going top 20. If Cam is off the board, like for me, I don't know if nobody knows, but to me, Abdul doesn't scream like a one of one. He doesn't.
Okay.
But when you're playing opposite Myles Garrett, I don't know if you have to be right now.
They're kind of saying he is.
They say a lot about prospects every year, and some of these guys turn out to be very mid. I would take the swing on Shedeur. I would, at 2, with Cam off the board. I would go Shedeur.
Instead of taking Carter and maybe. So there's nobody down there. Milroe, Tyler, Will Howard.
Talking about the kid from Louisville.
Shuck, is it?
Yeah, I would go Shedeur. I like him.
I like him, too. I'm just wondering if he is a franchise quarterback.
Only one way to find out. Put him in the Muni lot, see if he can survive.
Take him?
Yep.
Okay. We got time. That's the beautiful thing about all this. CB, how many days away are we from draft day? Maybe the best movie ever made.
Oh, wow. I certainly think so. But I think it's exactly a month. Is that right?
Yeah, we're exactly a month away.
That's
It'll be a good night. What, in Green Bay? Cheeseheads?
Lambeau.
Okay.
It's interesting because you if you put yourself, obviously you're thinking in the terms of the Browns picking how you would, but I think in the mind of Andrew Berry's how you have to think about it. If you don't go quarterback, you're most likely setting up the table for the next front office to pick their quarterback next year.
That's right.
And also, who's playing quarterback for me this year, CB, if we don't take a
that's the thing. You take a chance on a veteran that could take your season, and then, again, you're setting the table for the next administration.
Well, weren't we told 2 weeks ago that Kirk Cousins was going to be a Brown?
That was if he was released.
You like that? You like that?
No, but I think that was implied that he was going to get released and he'd be a Brown.
No, I know. Yeah. But now that he's not released, do they want to spend draft capital to get him? Now
I was told by the weekend a couple weeks ago.
Please release me.
There you go.
All right. We will come back in 2 minutes and talk with our friend Spencer Holbrook.
Before we do that, fellas, if you haven't been feeling good, maybe some body aches, low energy, you know where you need to go to get right? It's the Columbus Men's Clinic, because if you've been waiting to treat your low T or ED, or maybe you had an experience with another clinic that got you in, got you out, weren't very caring, but more importantly, didn't make you feel good on the way out, you need to get to the CMC. It's time to get in there and move forward with your sex life, your career, and your gym goals. Seriously, guys, go see the team that for 10 years has been #1 in Ohio for men's health. Stop thinking about it and get on in there. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400. Or go online to columbusmensclinic.com to book an appointment today. columbusmensclinic.com.
Who's under more pressure this year with this team? Brian Hartline or Matt Patricia? We'll ask Spencer Holbrook that next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Hey, Ohio State fans. While others cut corners, like that team up north, Valvoline Instant Oil Change is Buckeye-level quality. We train hard and treat every day like game day. We're always quick, but never rushed. And you can stay in your car while our experts do the work. Valvoline Instant Oil Change is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Visit valvoline.com/Buckeyes to find your nearest location and access exclusive fan savings.
Everybody poops, everybody pees. Mommy, will you call Mr. Rooter, please? 'Cause I gotta poop and I gotta pee. Only Mr. Rooter can clear the drain for me. Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
Hi, everybody. We call it what it is at Mr. Rooter. When you have a plumbing or drain problem, the team at Mr. Rooter is ready 7 days a week. Call us today and take advantage of our $95 drain cleaning special. Visit us at MrRooter.com. We'll be there quick.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Here's 3 reasons to buy your Blue Jackets ticket plans for the 25-26 season. 1, pick your seat and pick your games. 2, plans start at just 11 games. 3, priority access to Stanley Cup playoff tickets. Act now. Visit BlueJackets.com/tickets.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hit a home run for happy hour and ask your Twin Peaks girl about local specials on drafts, cocktails, shots, and more.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony once got Jack Nicklaus to quote the movie Caddyshack, so he's got that going for him.
The last time I saw a mouth like that, I had a hook.
Which is nice. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Let's go while we're young.
Don't sell us short. We're tremendous slouches. We're going to up the ante now with our friend Spencer Holbrook, who was probably on time. Hurry up and wait over there, I heard, at the Woody. Correct, my friend?
I mean, I got there at 10 a.m., so I was in for the long haul. But, I mean,
hey,
yeah, it was interesting.
You're covering the champs, buddy. There's a price to pay for that admission. I asked this question as a tease. I don't know if you heard it. If you didn't, even better. You'll be blindsided by it. Who do you feel has more pressure to get them to a championship level again this year, Brian Hartline or Matt Patricia?
I think it's probably Brian Hartline, just because this is his, he's been kind of building toward this. He's been kind of learning behind the scenes from Chip Kelly, from Ryan Day, from Kevin Wilson, from all of the other people that he's worked under, Urban Meyer, even dating back to when he was the interim wide receivers coach and an assistant wide receivers coach. He's been kind of building toward this. And so I think, with a new quarterback in year one of a new quarterback system, and with a new play caller, I think there's a lot of pressure on this offense to deliver. For Matt Patricia, I think it's more of, if it doesn't work out, then, he's kind of out of college just the way he was out of the NFL at this point. So, I think that it would probably be Hartline as of right now, but I could be talked into Patricia if there's an argument to be made otherwise.
let's talk about these quarterbacks. And, Tavian comes in, young guy, true freshman. Wouldn't be surprised if he's a bit overwhelmed right now. But let's lock in on Lincoln Kienholz, because I think a lot of the chatter has been about Julian saying, a lot of the former players have talked about how good he's looked behind the scenes and all of that. But just where are you at with Lincoln, his point right now in his career at Ohio State, and the chance you think that he's realistically got to win this job?
Yeah, I mean, he looks a lot better right now than he did at this point last year, and especially his freshman year when he came in June and was just learning the playbook. So he's definitely progressed. He looks more accurate. He looks more on time. He looks like he's more comfortable in the system. He looks even more comfortable in his own skin, because I think we discount that sometimes, just about guys coming in as these superstar athletes who, are then humbled pretty quickly by being at Ohio State. I think that he looks a lot more comfortable in just about every phase. And maybe sometimes we discount that, but we shouldn't, because it's really important for these guys to be confident in what th're doing. And I think that's a big thing that Lincoln has turned the page on and been able to focus on. And now he's just in the throes of this battle. And, who are we to say that he can't compete for this job? And so I know that the writing looks like it's on the wall from the outside, that Julian Sand's going to be the guy, but he's not going to be handed that by anybody. And if Lincoln Kienholz goes out and performs better than him in the spring, then he'll head into the summer with, the upper hand in the quarterback battle. And it's kind of just as simple as that. It's, if you want this quarterback battle, go win it, because it's not been settled yet.
Spence, I think that, last year was kind of a foregone conclusion. He was leveling up. He was getting Will. Devin was in the battle as well. And the only reason I gave it a little more runway is because there was more runway to the season. This year, you get Texas right out of the gate. It seems even more important for him to know right away and to feel a really strong feel going into fall. Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. For sure, because I think there's going to be so much pressure to perform at a high level in that first game of the season. And so you've got to have these guys ready. And, Ryan Day referenced today, they have 159 days until the Texas game. I didn't know that it was 159 days, but Ryan Day, stepping off the practice field for the first time, knew that exact number, and he just pulled it out of his hat and said it right to us, in the middle of a sentence like it was nothing. He's very clearly counting down. And so I think they know that the pressure is going to be on to perform in that moment. And so, that's why I think this quarterback battle is so important for everybody. It's not just because of a 16-game sample that's going to happen between, September and January potentially. It's more so about 31st of August and putting that new 2024 championship banner up in the horseshoe and getting all of those things done, and then going out and having to perform against a really, really good opponent, potentially the number one team in the country in Texas. So, I think it all ties into it. But I think that's one of the things that creates this urgency for this quarterback room.
Spence, what have you seen from C.J. Donaldson Jr. over there? Transfers in from West Virginia. I know it's been talked about the last few days about how he looks physically, and more importantly, how he said he feels physically now. But you've been out there a couple times now. Like, what have you learned about C.J. Donaldson Jr. at running back?
I like him. So far, he seems like a guy who's going to be able to help them a lot. He looks really good. He just looks like he's kind of a brute out there running back. When he tells you he's 225 or, down to like 225 or whatever he said that he was down to, like, that means a lot, because, he was, if you watch that West Virginia tape, he was good, but I think there was a little bit of like a, trailer hitch to him a little bit, where you could see if he lost a little bit of that weight, there was another gear he could hit. And I think Ohio State's just in the works of like unlocking that next gear and I guess unhitching that plow from him and being able to unleash him on a new level that maybe he wasn't able to reach at West Virginia. I love the plan they have him on right now to get down to that playing weight that he wants to be at. And I think he's kind of all in and bought in on what they have in store for him, because he knows what they can do with transfer backs like they did with Quinshon last year. So I think that it's so far so good. Obviously he's going to have to play really well this spring and earn a role and then be ready for August 31st. But, I'm really excited for what he could be in this offense.
Where do you think, or how much do you think, and they can easily ramp up during the season, but the drop-off from the dudes they had on that D-line last year in the championship, they're gone, and then the guys that are leveling up now to be those guys, how would you kind of describe the drop-off right now? Not what it could be or what it will be, but just right now on paper.
Yeah, right now I think it's a little noticeable. I'm not going to say that, the sky is falling on this defense, because the defensive line is not going to be any good. That's not what I'm I'm here to say. But I will say that like it's noticeable. There's no JT. There's no Jack. There's no, all of those guys are just not there anymore. And that in and of itself is kind of shocking considering, when's the last time we went an entire spring without seeing Jack Sawyer in the building? The answer is probably 2018, maybe in 2017 because of how many recruiting visits he took. So it's just kind of startling not to see a guy like Jack there. But, on the field, it is one of those things where they have to keep getting better. And I know they're going to continue to be compared to last year's defensive line. It's what we do, in this profession is just compare units. But they've just got to continue to progress, whether it's Kenyatta Jackson and Caden Curry as veterans, whether it's Caden McDonald as a third-year guy looking to make his move into the star status, whether it's Edric Houston doing the same thing, Jason Moore and Will Smith Jr. trying to give some depth here on the defensive line, like CJ Hicks transitioning into that role. So much has to be done with this unit. We're going to talk to Larry Johnson this week. I'm really excited to get some insight into what he's seen so far through 4 or 5 practices because I think, you can kind of take his word for it. He's going to give you a pretty straight answer on what he's seen from these guys. There's a lot of work to be done, but I think that they're pretty excited about what the future could be for this unit. But by all means, right now it's pretty easy to say that it's a step back, but I think it could be still a strength of this team if everybody continues to, rise up to the occasion and play well this spring.
I want to hit you up about Brandon Ennis. Up top on that depth chart in that wide receiver room, Jeremiah, Carnell. I think we know what we're going to get from those guys if the quarterback position is going to be consistent. But like B.I., as they refer to him over there as B.I., what do you think he's in store for? What do you think he's capable of within this offense as the potential wide receiver 3 this year?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think he's got a chance to be a captain on this team. Like he's taken a big leadership role from everything I've heard. And it's something that, from my understanding, he wanted. He wants to be a leader, not only of the wide receiver room, but of the entire roster and the offense. So that's something that I've kind of got my eye on, just him as a leader. The other thing is, we've seen it. He had the touchdown against Penn State, and he looked like a number 1 receiver out there. He had the 3rd and 7 shake and bake route against Notre Dame where he left some guy in his shoes and got open on a 3rd down to get a first down from Will Howard there. Like, he's made big plays in really big moments. We know what he's capable of, but it's just doing it consistently, getting it down to down, understanding that, hey, you're not a guy off the bench anymore. You're one of the top 3 options in the best wide receiver room in America. It's, you have to play like it on a consistent basis. So that's what I think I'm looking for from Brandon, but I'm really excited, man. Like, he looks ready to go. He speaks like he's ready to go, and I think he leads like he's ready to go. And I think those 3 things are, when they all get synced up, I think that's when you see special things. And I think you can expect that from Brandon this year.
Spence, did Coach Patricia shed the pencil like he shed some poundage?
Yeah, it seemed like I was looking for it. I was on one side of the room, so I couldn't see the other side, but it looked like he didn't have that pencil. I wonder if he's done writing things down or if he's just given that pencil a little bit of a break. I'm not sure, but I think that's probably the investigative question of the day.
It really is, and it's something that needs to be dug into, and you're just the man to do it. All right, buddy, be well. Enjoy the rest of the week. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Our man, Spencer Holbrook, one of the best dudes on the beat from Lettermen Row. He was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We will tell the truth next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics, the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
we're catching up with that famous deep-sea explorer, Jacques Black Jacques. Jacques, where are you today? You're in Columbus. What could you possibly be exploring in Columbus?
The April showers bring flooding to Batmans.
Oh, I see. Spring rains mean basements are flooding.
This not necessary. Apex Pros.
Not necessary. Call Apex Pros.
A simple zoom pump chick.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble understanding this. Zoom pump check. Sump pump check. Are you saying sump pump check? Yes, of course. Sump pump check from the pros who knows at Apex Pros.
They come to your house.
They come to your house.
They test your zoom pump.
They test your, what is it again? Zoom pump. Some pump, right.
All with a 5-star guarantee.
All with a 5-star guarantee. Now, see, I understood that perfectly.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
One of the things I had decided when I started the company was we were going to build the best window possible. We were going to give the best service possible. And I think we've accomplished that. Our reputation is built on taking care of people and building a great window and then taking care of it afterwards. It's just a darn good window.
Visit Rosati Windows and get 35% off all windows and doors by March 31st.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
Most radio stations suck. Here's why. They don't invest in local programming. We're live and local 14 hours a day. You can rest assured that every stupid thing we say is 100% local. Homegrown dumb since day one. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems in Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
All right, CB, take us home.
All right, really quick, I just want to put some news out there because I think it's going to be credible towards the Ohio State basketball program. It looks like, and I always mess up the pronunciation of his first name. I think is it Dalen or Dallin? But Dallin Swain. He's from Columbus, played at Xavier for the past couple of seasons. He just entered the transfer portal. It's pretty noticeable because he did go here to high school in Columbus.
Yep.
And I think as of maybe yesterday or the day before, Devin Royal was in his Instagram comments kind of pitching him the idea of coming to Ohio State.
Okay, something to monitor. He's coming home. He's maybe coming home.
Listen, he had a great game against Illinois. Needs to get that 3-point percentage jacked up. I think he's in the 15 to 20%, but was crazy good against Illinois, ironically.
He was on when he needed to.
Yeah. So, local kid, play for the Buckeyes. He's had some great experiences, played some big games. Big, pretty thick kid.
Yeah, it's what they need, especially on the wing. They need some of those bigger wings on this roster.
Get a 6'8", 2 1/4 out there. You got a little beef going.
All right, let's start with the tournament real quick. Tell the truth. Which one seed is most likely to lose in the round of 16?
One seed that's likely to lose their next game.
So what we got? Florida, Maryland, Houston, Purdue, Duke, Arizona, Auburn, Michigan.
It feels to me...
My mind keeps going to Purdue? Upsetting
Beating Houston?
Like, I don't see it for Michigan and Auburn right now. Duke, I think, is just... they're really complete.
Yeah. I actually was going to go with Auburn.
You're going with Auburn? Okay.
Yeah. That
Dusty May getting it done?
They've responded, man. And they rallied against A&M. Roddy Gale. Hero status now.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden goes from not making anything to scoring 26 off the bench. Like, they're on a little bit of house money. I'm with you. It could go either way. I'm trying to think, who do I trust more right now, Purdue or Michigan? And I'm going to lean Michigan, but maybe they got the tougher task.
You can't handle the truth.
All right, question number 2. Tell the truth. Which non-1 seed could you see most likely winning it all now?
Well, CB, since I have Bama getting to the final, I'm going to stay consistent and roll tide on this one. Now, that Duke matchup, which we might get, is going to be absolutely tough for them. But, I just believe in their offense. Grant Nelson looked good getting out in the transition yesterday, catching lobs and all that stuff. So that's great to see. And like I said, Sears hasn't really been a top dog yet in this tournament. So if he finds a way to lock in this next round going into a potential matchup with Duke, then I would love that. So I'm going to go. I know they're 2 seeds, so I'm going to go with Bama.
Boy, I was thinking Bama even before he said it. I just think when you have a team that can score the way they can score, it's tough to turn away from them. I could maybe pick a potential, I don't even know if it's an easier path, and go with like a Tennessee strong. But Kentucky's beating them twice.
Yeah, and Kentucky's really overcoming the Jackson Robinson injury. They look really good.
Yeah,
they're locked there.
But and I don't know if this is good or bad that they've lost to Kentucky twice this year. That could be good. Trying to beat them 3 times and now when it counts might be really tough. But then, if they got an incredible break and Purdue would upset Houston, then they'd be there. It's right there for me between Tennessee and Bama. So I'm going to lean Bama just with their scoring ability.
Did you say I know my truth?
I know my truth.
All right, tell the truth. Would you support the proposed rule change in the NFL for the regular season games where overtime rules change to guaranteeing both teams' possession regardless of the result of the first possession? So touchdown on the first possession will not end overtime. The other team gets an opportunity.
I'm here for it.
And aren't they going to 15 minutes versus 10?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
The players are like, great. More tax on our body. Yeah, I would like the opportunity there for the other team. If they don't get the ball right out of the gate in overtime,
touchdown,
and their defense gives up a touchdown, that their offense gets a chance to answer. I'm here for that.
It benefits winning the coin toss in OT because then you can know whether you're in 3 or 4 down mode.
Yeah.
Like, that's always good. And yeah, with this game, how slanted it is towards the offense, if you win a coin toss and take it down and score a touchdown, like, I don't know if it's as easy as we make it sound, because that first team that has it does need to decide whether they'd go for it on a 4th down. But yeah, I just think at this point in time, if you win the toss and you defer in overtime, there should be a little advantage to winning the toss, but not to the advantage it was. Like, that's really tipping it one way on a coin toss, that if you score a touchdown, game's over.
Right.
So I'm for it. Yep.
You ain't lying.
All right, the fan poll is sponsored by Caster Connection. Your answer will probably fit the team that you picked in your bracket if they're still alive. But the question is, which conference will win the NCAA men's basketball championship? Is it the SEC with 7 teams, the Big Ten with 4, the Big 12 with 4, or the ACC?
See, he knows me better than this. He should know me better than this. I'm going to mental hedge this thing. I'm not going anywhere near the team I picked. Give me the SEC all day long because, A, you're getting – this isn't just a field bet. These are massive teams that you're getting. This isn't like Duke versus the field. You give me the SEC right now with Auburn and Florida and Bama and Tennessee, I'm not going near Duke. I'd have one chance with the ACC. Forget it. Give me the SEC all day long.
That's the smart answer. Now that we got Ole Miss in the party cooking, them coming off an offensive, really good performance for them. Florida, I think, is awake now after going through what they had to go through. I think that can work out well for a team. Like UConn made them earn it. The back-to-back champs in the Huskies said, okay, we're going down with a massive fight if we're going down, and that's what they did. Florida put on the gas and ran away from them. But, yeah, smart money right now, CB, is to roll with the Southeastern Conference.
You calling me a liar? I ain't calling you a truther.
All right, final one. Would you rather run a country or a business?
Oh, I want no parts of running a country. No parts.
Yeah, doesn't seem very good at all.
Yeah, like this no. I don't see the upside.
Business.
Yeah, give me the business all day.
Well, you would have. It depends what kind of business. See, what he could have said was this, and this might change your mind. Probably not. Would you rather run a country or run a very average, middling business that's struggling to stay afloat?
Oh, and like Gordon Ramsay has to come by and like Kitchen Nightmares to save me?
Because
I'm going to go with that.
Because the country part, you're getting your dream. Your own plane, your own chef.
Yeah, but
you're getting all. I'm just trying to bring something else to the table.
The country part is it's a no for me.
What if it's a very small country?
I'm not seeing the vision.
What if Rhode Island could beat the you-know-what out of it in a war?
The truth shall set you
What if they recently
free.
had the entire country carpeted?
No, that does nothing for me. Hey, if you miss anything from our show, wherever you get your podcast, type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3. We'll be waiting there for you. Subscribe to the pod as well. Our podcast is sponsored by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Timmy Hall in for Common Man today. Jason Stark joins at 5:30.
We'll come back tomorrow at high noon. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
We're in Raising Cane's with the man that started it all.
Wait, are you the Yes Chef guy?
We got chicken fingers, crinkle cut fries, Texas toast, and their world famous cane sauce. We'll shed a tear right now.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Hey guys, it's Timmy Hall, and it is my time of year. And when it comes to college basketball in March, one thing is for sure, nothing's for sure. Upsets, buzzer beaters, Cinderella's advancing, top seeds going home early. It's all going to happen, so bet the unexpected. Every upset every day with DraftKings Sportsbook. Live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays. DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination in March. First time, here's something special. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code TheFan971. That's code TheFan971 for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, Ohio only. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could dump all your problems on someone else's back? Well, when you wake up to a clogged drain or a plumbing issue, make that Mr. Rooter's problem.
Call 855-MISTERS today or MrRooter.com.
Call Mr. Rooter, he'll be there quick.
If you're like most Americans, you've racked up tens of thousands in credit card debt. You're stuck with 20% interest fees, and even the monthly payments, well, they're hard to make. It's insane. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. The good news is that there is a way out. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending. They specialize in fast, easy access to the equity in your home. Most homeowners have hundreds of thousands of dollars in their home equity. That's your money. AFLcash.com can get it out for you with zero junk fees and zero hassle. You can pay off all those credit cards in just a matter of days. Pay off your car loans too. Cut your monthly expenses by $800 or even $900. I'm telling you, the relief you need, well, it's right there at your fingertips. AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Break out of the credit card debt prison with AFLcash.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring champions of faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, three-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, two-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to LifeSearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring champions of faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit LifeSearch.com today.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu.